That's why I said yesterday, like, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind anti-Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to. I don't think that I will be able to reach him.
What's the insinuation that I only listen to other Jewish people? You need to talk to my pre-approved list of Jews that like agree with me on everything. You know, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, dude. It doesn't matter if they're fucking Jewish.
I think most Jews.
I don't think Jews at large view it. I don't think that is the...
What, in what position are you to even say that?
It's not motivated by myself. It's motivated by Jews against anti-Zionist Jews.
Seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Ethan, I don't know what to fucking...
Yeah. Let's continue. Let's watch.
Peach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the...
Fucking thing in our defense, like... Actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this group of...
What we do here is go back.
It's so interesting that, like, this is probably nostalgic for so many people in this audience who probably were major iDubbbz fans and possibly even Ben Shapiro fans at that time, and now have become fans of mine. But I never really watched any Content Cops. Like, I kind of knew about it because everybody knew about it, and I'm sorry for pausing it immediately, but, like, for me, I don't even get the fucking nostalgia aspect that you guys have. So it's just like such a strange phenomena. I was in high school. I'm a teacher now. That's crazy. What's up, everybody? I'm Hasan Piker, and this is Hasan broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. I have a very important announcement. I've finally done it. I watched Ethan Klein's Content Nuke, and I'm not going to call it Context Puke as I normally do because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true. Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me, both physically and also mentally. I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the Content Nuke. And he was right about that too. How did he know everything? How? Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up.
Zooms, anyone?
Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not going to do a react content yet, chat.
I'm listening. Nobody's told you to wake up, Ethan.
Yummy, I love Sabra hummus.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
Wake up.
That was not nice. Wake up, Ethan. Just wake up.
All right.
I did not know he did that to my
I didn't plan on making
microphone.
a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, iDubbbz. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hasan Piker. Content cop on Sargon of Akkad. If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a story about Ethan Klein. I know some of you have been following him, but there's a lot of people who might not be familiar with the background, with his podcast, with what's been going on over the past couple of years. So Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fucked up. He's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters. He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hasan Piker. In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now in his podcast,
He's crashing out live.
Maybe.
I just expected
Also, I'm
better.
sure this is all going to get clipped, and I love that I'm looking like this for all this.
At least I don't have black hair.
I'm not going to watch this. All right, we're
with
watching the
Hasan
content
Leftovers, they would mostly talk
Well,
about
it's fine.
surface
It's
level,
whatever,
progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers. You trans women. I say, oh no!
And it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hasan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Well, the dance he invented was so kick-ass.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East Jerusalem. The United Nations says that may be a war crime. It literally is.
Was just eating the toppings. And the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn victims.
I think it's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more of the goof guy. And that's fine, you know, we don't expect Ethan to be an expert on the topic. Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli, she served in the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel. On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically savvy. They follow Hasan. Hasan is strictly a political streamer, so this is something they're very keyed into. So when they see Ethan say things that are just like not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're gonna call it out.
From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye.
So this massive progressive audience that Ethan has, adopted over the years, they're becoming increasingly critical of his position because now he's talking about it not on Leftovers, he's now talking about it on his podcast.
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hasan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, crazy, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys.
The other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
So Ethan is having this back and forth with his liberal audience, leftist people online, progressive content creators, Hasan, all of these different people. He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb. Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits. And everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently. Even though he looks like Millhouse, fucking dork. Denims, by the way, was the real villain of the video. Evil, hateful fucking... And I'll say it and I'll double down on it. And people... Oh, no?
No,
Did I not go there?
And it's all culminated, at least for my story, in Ethan burning bridges with people until he burned the bridge with me. Since Ethan and Hasan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace and we can rekindle our friendship. So that's been my approach. I've occasionally thrown a joke Ethan's way in the form of Hasan Piker versus Ethan Klein for boxing.
I like iDubbbz. He's a good guy, but I don't like this tweet. It's stupid. It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like, this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. And also he's way out of my weight class.
He didn't like that, but fucking sometimes you gotta just throw something out there.
That's crazy that he just like drops that I'm evil and I'm doing anti-Semitism, that it's not a petty beef. Crazy. Like what a crazy statement, dude.
I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic. I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles is an H3 fan. He watched Ethan's content, he liked Ethan's content, until he didn't like Ethan's content. There would be an occasional Froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that, you know? Like, I'm not gonna endorse it, I'm not gonna retweet it or like it, but fair enough.
I guess I just missed my old friend. Some wings are too bird feathered, colored.
Now that brings us to February 28th of this year. Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word. He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure. Ethan, at some point, discovers that iDubbbz's former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Hila. But no one's asking the question, where does Ethan get this information from? You see, it would be very obviously a problem if Ethan was discovering this content by scrolling through Twitter looking for something to upset himself with. He has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information. And that would be horrible. They shouldn't be doing that. They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you. Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking him to me and posting on the Reddit, when there's no work being put into who the fuck is the person on the Reddit who's posting this in the first place? If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history and it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community. Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me. So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable, and fucked up towards Ethan and Hila on Twitter. But Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Now I'm going to watch and respond to the two podcast streams where Ethan and Hila call us spineless cowards.
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like, she's like a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit. And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and iDubbbz's feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
You don't know what's on my feed. What the fuck is happening? For all you know, I only use the For You tab. For all you know, I only use lists. For all you know, I'm seeing these things tweeted out by my editor of a year and a half ago and saying, God, that is nasty. I'm just not gonna throw someone away because they're having a parasocial weird moment. Just like I'm not gonna throw Ethan Klein away because he's having a parasocial weird crash out.
How many women I fucked? Hasan, by the way, thousands. Yeah, thousands. Let me ask Galia. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Hasan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex.
Watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait.
Anytime I see new clips, I'm like, come on, bro. Why are you saying these things? Why? It goes back to stupid, sexy Hasan every time. It's so strange. It's a strange thing to do.
That's what wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like, this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people, I'm sure, who have unfollowed you for the things that you've said and done. And I'm sure there are even more people who have stayed following you because they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to throw someone away because they've had some hard moments. We're all fucking human.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
And what you're saying to me is that I'm a bad friend and I'm a piece of shit. I'm spineless. I'm cowardly because I am following someone on Twitter.
Because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
Dude, this is... I don't think I'd seen him go the distance on this stuff, but like that's crazy, man. That's how does no one around you go, dude, what do you mean journalists are like actively gaslighting you? Holy fuck. It is truly a historic crash out in the sense that it's ironic because like he used to make fun of Tim Pool. Tim Pool has that famous clip where he's like, nobody wants to date me. Is it my fault? No. It's everybody else's fault. And he used to fucking joke about that all the time. He used to use that all the time to make fun of Tim Pool. How does he not see that this is literally that? The fact that the crew hasn't done anything is borderline negligent. I don't think the crew can do anything, dude. That's what I'm like. I don't think they can talk to him at this point.
I mean, I don't know what he's getting at here. Like, yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually like the #1 type of harassment I got, was people gaslighting me and taking my newfound woke ideology to its extreme.
I probably done and stood by iDubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because it makes the relationship feel very transactional. Like, you know, we're just meant to support each other online despite our own personal morals or principles.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. And certainly I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it. So I have nothing. Like, I don't need any fucking halfway friends, man.
I thought the text conversation that I had with him was very empathetic. I basically just said, like, I know you and Hila are experiencing a ton of harassment, and I essentially empathize with that, and I think there's something positive to get out of the conversation. But he refused to talk on the phone unless I was willing to publicly say something about my former editor and denims. As much as you don't want halfway friends, I also don't want that kind of halfway friend. I don't want someone who's going to give me like an ultimatum to have a conversation.
Could you not say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hasan actually wants to go to Israel, go to Gaza so he can strangle Israeli babies or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
You're trying to make a one-to-one comparison where there isn't one. This guy that I follow on Twitter is not in the same relationship as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you 3 days a week, 3 hours a day for the past 10 years. At one point during the stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre. Now, Adam does basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Adam McIntyre needs to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad about Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything
and
like
I was
that.
supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't going to cheer that on. That's disgusting.
Why do you forget that he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn of Satan?
It's disgusting.
And
a piece of shit of a human.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
Unfortunately, they never made a statement. They never said that they disagree with his statements about Trisha's baby until it's useful. Like, what is it, 3 years later? Like, I mean, you're talking about it like you were aware of it at the time and that there was some amount of pressure or enthusiasm for you to get down with that. And what it sounds like to me is that you did see it at the time and you were like, ooh, I don't like that. And you didn't endorse it and you didn't fuck with it. Huh. It's almost like that is a fucking identical situation to me.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story, you know? It's really something.
So yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're trying to like paint themselves as the good guys, and they're saying like, yeah, we strongly disavow things that are said, even about our enemies. We are the most immoral people on the internet. Unlike Ian and Anissa, who are fucking keeping to themselves. Also, why the fuck does Olivia get the pass?
What a fucking asshole for putting you in that position, Olivia. You're friends with him. And you don't have to say anything, but like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a bad friend to put you in that position just for some fucking clout. It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit, okay? Olivia did not do anything. And
I want the pass. Do I have to be an employee to get that treatment? Because then you'll just see me as an ally? Or is it because Ethan is afraid of wrongful termination accusations and lawsuits?
And also, I don't mind putting my friend Olivia, who's apparently my real friend, in a terribly weird, fucking uncomfortable situation where you end up getting hate for no reason.
Also, don't frame it as like other people making it hard on Olivia. You're making it hard on all of these people. Please acknowledge your role in this whole fucking thing.
It's true.
Like, it's crazy how warm Ethan is to Olivia and saying how Olivia is essentially just a victim in this whole thing.
It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit.
But me and Anissa are spineless. Ethan, your whole system is scrambled. My intention isn't to throw the employees under the bus. Like, you guys serve as the fucking foundation for calling out Ethan's hypocrisy on the whole subject. And I know that you guys have probably pushed back against Ethan over the years. How often are you supposed to do that? Do you have to do that every fucking week? It kind of seems like it. And that's exhausting. I don't want to confront my boss. It's not my fucking job to confront my boss and say, today's segment on rapists and pedophiles on Twitch was not my favorite segment to be a part of.
Yeah, friends like these.
Oh, yeah. And our other good friends.
Yeah.
Anissa and Ian. Thanks, Anissa, for standing up for your girl. I actually stood up for you so many times because, like, why would I not? It was crazy.
Yeah, why would you not?
This also doesn't make any sense because, like, I actively avoided talking about Ethan for a year when he apparently was doing a bunch of this stuff about, he was apparently having not the best takes about Israel as Israel was pummeling Gaza. And people kept bringing it up. And I was like, I don't care about what Ethan has to say. I defended him over and over again. I don't expect anything transactional out of this. But it's crazy that, like, for me, I cared more about the issue at hand and not necessarily the drama amongst content creators. So there's an entire compilation out there somewhere. I think it's like 8 minutes, sorry, over the past 16 months. The first, like, post leftovers year from November 2023 all the way to November 2024, pretty much, where I'm like, I don't care. Remember, Ethan is not your enemy. Ethan is not pro-Israel. Because I thought that he wasn't. Like, I thought that he was maybe internally conflicted to a certain degree, given his proximity to Israel. I thought that he had an attitude that was significantly more critical of Israel than what it has become. And on top of that, I recognized that there is a lot of anti-Semitism on the rise. And I think that Ethan, as someone who had experienced a lot of the anti-Semitism online, was unable to parse through the actual progressive fans that he had that were telling him, not from an anti-Semitic perspective, that what he was saying was Zionist propaganda that is pro-Israel propaganda, and the people who were just being anti-Semitic and saying, of course, you're a Jew, that's why you believe these things. I recognize that. I understand that. There are plenty of Jewish Hasanabi heads in this community, many of which had a different opinion on Israel before October 7, many of which that went through those motions. That's precisely the reason why I had Simone Zimmerman and Noah Colwin on the broadcast. Noah is obviously, as you guys know, a great friend of mine, host of the Blowback podcast, fantastic podcast about American foreign policy and its consequences. I highly recommend it. But I watched the Israelism documentary, and I had Simone on as well alongside Noah. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to help other people that had been trapped in this internal conflict to see a way out of it, to be able to recognize the social conditioning that led them astray. And I think it's been relatively successful as well. And yet, after all of that, what did I get? Over and over again, just smears, collaborating as Ian showed here, collaborating with a community that has fucking haunted my ass and has tried to turn me into a lolcow, knowing full well what kind of harassment I withstood from the sex pestiny community. He went around and he got clips from them to prove a point to his audience that no, Ethan and his statements on Israel wasn't the reason why progressive fans were leaving him behind and calling him a Zionist. It was actually me. I had brainwashed his progressive fan base. I had brainwashed them with my, I guess, stupid, sexy Hasan ways, that I was a truly evil person and a secret anti-Semite. Fucking insane.
I mean, if that's truly what you believed and you weren't just going to use it later.
Of course I was going to stand by you. That's insane. It's absolutely insane and disgusting. But now you choose to hang out with people that would have a problem with you if you defended me.
I'm not going to assume that Hila knows, but I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide. On the part of the Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not gonna fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are taught at 2 years old to kill Americans.
Do we have that one?
I mean, like just the other day, Bibi fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No, it's not.
So yes, you caught us. We're not gonna run to your defense when, I don't know, we follow people. We be following. That's one fucked up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
So,
the problem.
Okay, if you want to hang out with those people and have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you, enjoy your new.
Like, is there no concept here of like the output? Is that not even remotely important or interesting to the subject matter? It's just something that I don't understand at all, where they're like, oh, everything that we say about Israel is just, you can't have any difference in opinion on it, because if you do, then you're anti-Semitic, most likely. You're doing it in an anti-Semitic fashion. Like, this is the major point of contention. Content creators have a finite amount of time online, okay? What you do with that time and what you do with that platform and what you do with that influence matters. And if all you do in the limited time that you have online is to constantly attack pro-Palestinian content creators, undermine them, demand that they get deplatformed, okay, call them fucking anti-Semitic terrorists over and over again, yeah, of course people are going to be like, yeah, I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that, especially when the backdrop of this conversation, when we are all living in
profoundly privileged conditions here in the fucking Western world, in the United States of America, in West Hollywood or Bel Air, right? Like, we are incredibly privileged. And this entire conversation revolves around like your own personal feelings about how people don't agree with you. Like, it's just unimaginably selfish. It's so goddamn self-centered. It does not make any sense, especially when the backdrop of this is a live-streamed, endless sequence of child murder. So much so that Ethan made it such a joke that he would just be like, oh, there's a genocide happening. How can you do this? There's a genocide happening. Like that, it became a punchline for him. He started referring to Israel's genocide as nothing but a punchline. The genocide card, he said. The equivocation here of like them defending Ian and Anissa and then expecting the same in return also doesn't make sense, because Ian came out and said, I fucked up, at a time when he didn't need to do that at all. He could have just pivoted to like maybe centrist content and then later down the line, maybe some more progressive content. If it was disingenuous, if this change wasn't real, okay? If this change wasn't organic, if this change wasn't real, he could have just as easily kept doing right-wing content. That shit pops off. We all know what the internet looks like, especially with the 4chanification of Twitter to begin with. He could have kept farming it. But he had an honest change of heart. And in that honest change of heart, he came out and recognized that he should apologize for his past mistakes. And he lost a big chunk of his fan base as a consequence of that. People became active haters of him. He had nothing to apologize for because of his apology, okay? It is not the same situation. Standing by your friends in that regard, if you agree with the decision that they made to apologize, is an entirely separate situation than like actively crashing out on every single small, large content creator that's fucking pro-Palestine, trying to get people fired, trying to get people deplatformed, trying to take down an entire platform while you're on YouTube. Like, it's just crazy that yeah, of course, there's no equivalence here. There's no equivocation to demand unconditional support in this situation because I stood by you when you made a brave choice to fucking apologize for your past mistakes. Suing people for Reddit clips, getting your lawyer to demand insane things out of college students that are operating anonymous Reddit accounts, thinking that there is this massive conspiracy that you will uncover if you engage in frivolous lawsuits against people who cannot defend themselves against those lawsuits. And you know that they can't do that because you can bury them in a mountain of paperwork and know full well that they don't have the finances to be able to fucking defend themselves in a court of law. That's crazy.
Friends.
She's friends with people like Denims.
I know. Yeah.
Which I'll show.
Friends with
Denims is actually participating in this whole Child Protective Service lie.
Yeah.
Which I'll
and if
show
you're
you guys
friends with them, then you're saying what they're saying.
You'll notice that Ethan and Hila start talking about this Denims character. Originally, the complaint was about my former editor. He's been chatting shit about Ethan and Hila for the past year at least. They only care about it now because I guess it was spoon-fed to them via their Reddit that's clearly looking out for them. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, we are friends with Denims, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that she's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people. Kind of a tricky situation. How can you possibly think that they're both good people at their core? People can have crash out moments. People can say things that they don't mean. People can say things because they want internet clout and attention. I don't know, I think they're both probably guilty of saying things that they don't mean for internet clout and attention. Right now, one's a little bit more fucking nasty to me than the other.
I just don't see how you can be my friend and also be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, you know, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately. Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not gonna make you guys like meet up and kiss or anything.
He got apparently real mad at Steiny too for having me on his podcast. That episode's coming out tomorrow, I think. I don't know.
Anything. I get it. You guys are in fucking... You're either my best friend who's deep-throating me to the base of my cock, or you are Satan. You're the devil.
The last thing I said to Anissa, we were texting before I ever talked about it. She's like, I don't care about this guy. He's a nobody and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, then you'll have no problem publicly denouncing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the conversation ended.
She never replied.
Ethan, you can't even phrase it in a way that doesn't make you sound like you're being coercive and shitty. Well, then, you should have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? Does that sound like a friend? It kind of sounds like something a powerful villain would say.
But it was so funny how she immediately went to comment everywhere, like on our subreddit. She immediately had to comment like, oh, he doesn't work with us anymore.
Then
but that was it. That's all she said.
But then say that you don't
Okay, do you have
agree.
anything else to say for your friends though?
One of the reasons Anissa was so quick to clarify things in your Reddit is because your Reddit was already talking about who this editor is. And they were spreading misinformation that it was our co-host on our podcast, Uncle Dane. So yeah, the last thing we wanted is this guy getting pulled into this mess, and you guys don't give a fuck. Would it have been nicer and more supportive to say, we don't agree with the things he's saying and we support Ethan and Hila? Sure. Like, yeah, that would have been a nicer thing to say. Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship until you figure your shit out. And then maybe we can find a moment in time, I don't know how long it'll be, but a moment in time in the future where things are a little bit easier to broach. I don't think we need to do it right now, but you've insisted that this is an important thing to address. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me on your Instagram story. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me and my wife on your podcast twice. I would be fine with you not brigading my comment section on my podcast that gets 3,000 views a week because I prefer to not to do harassment campaigns and instead talk about Vampire's Kiss.
Like they say something like he doesn't work for me, and I.
That's the other thing is just like it's so it's so aggressive. Like this is the method. It's the tested and true method to just constantly do this. This is how you churn out content where you just discard people, real people, sometimes people that are in your life. It just feels so crazy to do this. It feels like you don't care about human beings as human beings, and it's all toys to play with that you can just cast aside and discard like a piece of trash. The issues themselves don't matter. People's belief systems don't matter. Everyone is a piece of content for you. Anyone and everyone can be discarded, cast aside, like it's nothing.
I strongly disagree, and I support Ethan and Hila. The problem is
that makes me think of your behavior since you started being a Twitch streamer. Yeah, I famously did this all the time, over and over again, and don't famously hold on to relationships with people who are literally doing that to me, regardless of how vicious they might be, with the hopes that I can change their minds, while my audience fucking yells at me and consistently tells me that I am a loser who doesn't care about real politics, but instead wants to defend his rich streamer friends. Like, what are we talking about? people unironically in my community yell at me all the goddamn time. And the people that I started this stuff with, including my fucking best friend in the real world, okay, that I brought onto Twitch, Will Neff, whose girlfriend, Caroline, I've also known for almost a fucking decade, are now content creators that have their own communities on top of everything else. But besides that, like Austin, who I have a podcast with, like these are the people who I started this journey with. And our friendship has only grown throughout these years. I don't want to have conflict. I don't want to have drama. Drama, while it's great for clicks, right? It's fucking awesome for clicks. It's awesome for the algorithm. Takes away from the actual goals that I have here. Cutie being left out here, that's true. I got smoke for Cutie right now. That's why. Who's Cutie? I don't even know her. I know I can't even joke about stuff like this because people will like clip this out of context and just like post it and blast it and brigade everything and anything that I've ever been on. You know what I mean? To prove a point where it's like Hasan has transsexual relationships. Look at him. You know what I mean? It's like, no, of course I love Cutie. Like for the record. I did this with Aiden Ross until it was impossible to salvage. I did this with XQC until it was impossible to salvage. There's a reason why outside of like classic quote unquote villains, okay, online, there's a reason why you won't hear this kind of attitude from many other content creators. And it's not because I have them under a web of lies and gaslighting and fucking, you know, mind control or whatever the fuck Ethan might suggest. That's not the reason. It's because I try to keep to myself. I did it with Nick Merckx. I try to talk to Nick Merckx directly when I saw him going down this right-wing path. Notice how there's one thing that is the most consequential aspect to all these stories is their politics. Okay? It's their politics, first and foremost. That's the most consequential aspect because at the end of the day, as I've said this, and I did this with Asmongold too, at the end of the day, what I care about for content creators in particular that have massive communities is their output, what they are putting out there and what they are influencing, what they are normalizing. And even with Ethan, I didn't care about any of the shit that he was saying. But the reason why I obviously started talking about it was because after a year of sneak disses and smears and whatnot, he very clearly put himself out there as someone who was pro-Israel. Like, he does what he was doing. And he chose to do this at like 12 months in, a year into a genocide. It was a political disagreement that I had, and I tried to stick to the issues on that front too, and not the petty grievances. Chatters still try to debate me to this day. They're like, oh, look at his tattoo, look at this, look at that. It's like, I don't care about that kind of stuff. I care about what he says. I care about what any content creator says within the finite amount of time that they appear online, what they are presenting to their communities, what they're advocating for. That's it.
But she doesn't.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
She actually.
She thinks they have a point.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Go fuck yourself. What about your girl? This is what I'm talking about. This aggression that you're putting out into the world. What the fuck do you think we're gonna do? You think I'm gonna fucking sit on my hands when you do this shit? Like, this is nasty. We had such a fair response to what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing, but it happens and you're perpetuating it.
You fucking propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist supporter. He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite.
You can't expect other people to stop harassing you if you continue to harass people. Let's think about it on a micro level. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with? It doesn't stop. It can literally go on forever if you don't want to touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of like a line, what happened today, that should never be crossed, even by like the most cynical, toxic people. It's going to have ramifications in terms of how I conduct myself. In terms of these fair weather friends who are, you know, so happy to.
My one gripe with not just this community, but the online life as a whole is the almost reactionary campus attitudes to people. Your charitability is the number one takeaway I have. It's the reason I believe what I believe. I have a friend who was a counter-protester last year to our campus protest and is now pro-Palestine within less than 1 year. Your charitability is the best thing I've learned, and it's never too much, in my opinion. Yes. That's it. Because I recognize that no one is born with a fucking copy of Das Kapital by their crib, by the baby's crib side, okay? No one starts off, especially in a country like America, or even in a country like Israel, okay? A settler colony. Both of these countries, in their inception, did genocide, ethnic cleansing, ethnic displacement. There's a lot of similarities between America and Israel, down to the connection to the greatest evil historically, the English. Okay? No one is born, quote unquote, woke. I certainly wasn't either. So I understand that it takes time, self-reflection, self-criticism. These are difficult things to come by. So someone has to be fucking charitable and not constantly be like, oh, you've said something that I consider to be a microaggression. You are the greatest evil of all time. I think it's like a lot of people do that. And I even understand why some leftists do that. The reason why they do that is because they're sick and tired of constantly having to be on the defense. Okay? I get it. But you're being charitable to narcissistic content creators. See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. You're doing it. You're doing it right now. You're fucking doing it. I'm not just charitable to narcissistic content creators. I'm charitable to everyone. The fuck are you talking about? My point is that this community is 42,000 people because of that. Do you understand? It's because of that. It's because if I were constantly calling everybody fucking white nationalists, white supremacists, racist, which is what right-wingers say I do all the fucking time, ironically enough, if I didn't assume that people could be charitable and go on their own journey of learning and development and change what their belief structure looks like, then I wouldn't do what I'm doing. The entire purpose of what I'm doing is to cause people to maybe reflect on previous things that they consider to be unshakable foundational truths. This is what it's all about. And that's precisely why I maintain this level of charity for content creators as well as I do to chatters as well who want to learn. Now, of course, in that process, there are people who catch me when I'm pissed off, or there are plenty of people who try to abuse that charity to come in and say, just curious, why are you a piece of shit terrorist anti-Semite? Just curious. Like, you're not fucking just curious, all right? And of course, I yell at them, and there are hours and hours of compilations like that, right? But having said that, the overwhelming majority of this community, if not the damn near entirety of it, all the way from when I had 35 live concurrent viewers to 35,000 live concurrent viewers, have had at least one issue that they've changed their minds on. The fuck? Half of you motherfuckers that are yelling at me for not being for being far too charitable don't realize that there was a point in time when if you had spoken out about a thing that you had firmly held convictions on, you would wish that I'd be charitable to you as well.
That's it. That, I think, is my superpower in general. I have a firm commitment to constantly trying to have people be charitable to me, because I understand that that is the only way. That is the only way I can get people to second guess what they believe is the truth, what they've been socially conditioned into believing. And many of you who have taken advantage of that and have grown because of that, because this was a welcoming community to people who truly want to learn, to truly see a different perspective, you then turn around and don't fucking repeat that kindness to others. It's ridiculous. That's it. And the reason why I understand why people have reactionary attitudes is because leftists will literally constantly talk about social conditioning in a white supremacist, racist, transphobic society that we exist under, and then they get shocked when motherfuckers reflect that perspective. Yeah, of course. What do you mean? If you recognize the impact of systemic racism, you have to also understand that motherfuckers are going to be kind of racist without thinking about it. Okay? The fuck? Like, what's the expectation here? Of course they're going to be fucking racist. That doesn't mean they will stay racist. If you think people are intrinsically evil and racist, and there's no way to change that, then why the fuck are you even trying? Like, what's the purpose here? That you're just slotted into a position at birth? You're just going to be a Marxist-Leninist, a card-carrying communist. And this person is always going to be a liberal who's a racist. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? That's not how human beings are. That's not how you are. Always look within and analyze the changes that you have had about key issues that you now look back at and recognize how differently you thought. There are people in here who used to be Ben Shapiro fans. There are people in here who used to be Steven Crowder fans. There are people in here who used to be Destiny fans. There are people in here who used to be Ethan Klein fans. And over the course of many years, their attitude has shifted on a lot of these issues. Would you want everyone to constantly reduce you to who you used to be? No? Then you recognize why you have to be charitable to others. This is why I always tell you, be fucking normal. That's it.
Be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
Ethan, that is a rich thing to say. Like, you're the H3 podcast, okay? There's a lot of friends of the show. There's even more fair weather friends of the show. Let's not get into this shit, okay? That is so bizarre and insulting to suggest that I was only ever being friends with you to get something out of it. No, I'm friendly with you, and I'd say I'm a light friend because it's been pleasant hanging out with you. I've enjoyed your content over the years. And as of late, it's gotten really fucking shitty.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Who else? Who else do we want to burn today?
Who else do we want to burn today? You're making it so fucking obvious that this is your emotional dumping ground. It's horrible. This is not what podcasts are. There was a way to approach this to say like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something. You've decided to do the extra thing and attack. Now, in fairness, I am attacking back, but I feel very insulted and I feel defensive and I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you and a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of your harassment.
It's so easy to be anti-racist. Everybody's anti-racist. Racism is the worst thing in the world, right? We fucking hate racists. Fuck racists.
Microaggressions.
The minute that they actually have to stick their neck out for somebody, the minute they have to actually risk.
This is also the other problem. Is like, although I dislike you, Hasan, I absolutely do agree on your point that what Ethan Klein is an absolute muppet. What the fuck? Listen to me, okay? Listen to me. Saying that you are defending Israel after 16 months of genocide, and that is a byproduct of Zionist ideology, which is a fascist ideology, is not anti-Semitic. You cannot, like, there's a difference between people that fucking yell about me all the goddamn time and people who compare me to Osama bin Laden. One is Islamophobic, and there's not really much I could do about it. Who gives a fuck, right? I mean, we live in the post 9/11 universe. It is what it is, right? The other is people hating me for a multitude of different reasons. If I were to constantly fucking run around and be like, oh, you guys are being Islamophobic, you guys are being Islamophobic. When people go, Hasan, you have a Porsche. You've leased a Porsche while you're a socialist. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, that's Islamophobic. People would laugh at me. At least categorize why people have their disagreements with you. You know what I mean? Try to figure out exactly what this is. It's not always about anti-Semitism. You know what I mean? Yes, I fucking leased a Porsche, goddammit. Ironically enough, he went and bought the same Porsche after, and now he fucking runs around talking about Hasan as a wealthy hypocrite socialist.
Something to put themselves in under scrutiny, to sacrifice something personally to stand up for racism, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't want to get involved.
And that's drama.
How much do you care?
I don't do drama.
How much
Sorry.
do you actually care? If you're, isn't that the whole point? Like,
I realize that Ethan and Hila are more scared now than they've probably ever been. I feel like anti-Semitism is a thought in their heads now more than ever. And it's not completely unjustified to be thinking about that sometimes. You guys are just hurt, and you're kind of like dancing around and making very like loose, poorly thought out analogies for something that doesn't even apply to us. It's like me making this video is the standing up for something, and it's saying, fuck you, you guys are being bad. You know, I don't think you're bad people, but you're being bad. You're behaving poorly. You're hurting people.
I mean, go back to the civil rights. You think that the people who are like the white kids who are protesting with the black students, you think that they were just like...
Yeah, this is a civil rights violation. If you don't defend me, a podcaster who fucking constantly chirps about Israel, if you don't defend me, this is a civil rights violation.
Not risking anything? Those kids who are marching with the black students and...
So in Ethan's analogy, he's the black student, and I'm the white student, but I'm the white student that's not, you know, marching by his side. I'm not doing the difficult thing. You're gonna have to march on your own, black student.
Marching with the black students and...
I mean, why is it inspiring? Why is it inspiring?
Well, and it's the same...
What a fucking laughable thing to compare yourself to. Jesus Christ.
Thing, to bring it back to the song just because, but it kind of is the same thing. Like, I was thinking about going to Gaza until I found out it's dangerous. He's a total performative activist that doesn't give a single fuck about the cause.
It's been performed exquisitely. Harassing one person and seamlessly transitioning into harassing another one. If anyone's been watching for the past fucking year, I'm pretty sure they have a good idea of your feelings about Hasan.
Like, people like Anissa are the perfect example because she's friends with these people. She's friends with Denims. Denims is streaming this story about our kid
I'll show that, yeah.
getting Giarda from the dog, whatever.
I'm sorry, I'll accept this take, this position from anyone except you guys. You have laid the groundwork for this type of streaming, which is watching people's shit and giving your unfiltered reaction to it. Why would you expect Anissa, of all people, to say something to Denims? Okay, so by that logic, we should be saying shit to you guys all the time. But I have a feeling you guys wouldn't like if we said shit like that to you all the time. Yeah, we've been respecting you as independent content creators. You can do what you want. We'll treat you as adults. Maybe we shouldn't have been treating you as adults.
She could say so much, and it would make her a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's not comfortable. She'll get a little bit of shit.
Yeah, just for saying
that. But that would be commendable.
And by the way, it kind of speaks for itself that saying, hey, their house is clean, they're, you know, they're actually good people, like that's going to get you shit. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
There isn't a single person that I respect who would give a fuck if I publicly said that Ethan and Hila are great with their kids, Ethan and Hila didn't kill their dog, and Ethan and Hila wipe their asses or don't have giardia or whatever the fucking the prompt is. No one would care. The only person who would care is me, because I'm like, why did I tweet this out? I'm not tweeting out because I'm not your fucking lapdog. That's why I'm not tweeting it out. I'm not saying it to my audience because I don't give a fuck. It's not my business.
That's
also, like, people disagree with you, Ethan. A lot of people do, as a matter of fact. Not only do they disagree with the way you go about dealing with issues, okay, but also people disagree with your overall fucking sentiment. They disagree with your opinion. And it's not in an anti-Semitic capacity either. Some of the people that Ethan has deplatformed are Jewish, okay? Like the Arabs podcast. He called him a token. A person that he tried to get fired from their Good Mythical Morning production job. Matt Leap, also Jewish. Like, what do you mean? It's like you don't care. It's not anti-Semitism at all. It's just me. People don't like what I have to say. They must be anti-Semitic. Like, what a fucking silly way to approach reality. Yeah, well, I'm not saying Noah Colwin, Felix Biederman, or Lowell overruled because he hasn't tried to get them fired. Because they don't really have fireable jobs.
That's, in my opinion, doing something that's
Yes,
difficult
it does.
and standing by your principles.
Ethan
That's
brought
the whole
up how
point. That's
Sam
what makes
Hyde-
standing by your principles.
Ethan brought up how Sam Hyde broke iDubb. Some of his chat likes Sam Hyde now. Dude, that is crazy. He made Sam Hyde look good, Lemafea. We love Sam. Just because we hate Hasan and iDubbz doesn't mean we like Destiny and Sam Hyde. Who's Sam Hyde? Sam got him, Lamau. Sam's going to eat this up, lol. Sam is too smart. Lol, Sam Hyde W. Is wild. Is wild because, like, if there's a real rabid anti-Semite in this equation, it's not me. It's not iDubbz. It's fucking Sam Hyde. He's literally a pedophile Nazi, okay? Not only is he a straightforward Nazi, he's also a fucking abusive pedophile. And this motherfucker is like, he doesn't have issues with that because, like, Sam Hyde hasn't said anything about him personally. It's just so simple. It's what you see is what you get. If you criticize Ethan, okay, recently, if you have something to say about Ethan recently, no matter how gentle you might be initially, you're the fucking worst guy, all right? You're the worst guy on the planet. You're the biggest anti-Semite on the planet. If you have something to say about Israel or Ethan's takes on Israel, oh, God, that is the highest stage of anti-Semitism you could arrive at. You could be a literal fucking neo-Nazi. He also said, Sam is an extraordinarily funny guy that inspired me when I was coming up. He's just a little crazy and potentially a Nazi. Yeah, I'm a rabid anti-Semite terrorist. Sam Hyde, who fucking is an out and about Nazi, is potentially a Nazi. What is happening? How can people not see that this motherfucker doesn't give a shit about anti-Semitism at all? What do you mean potential?
Principles admirable is that it's not always easy.
Why are you saying that I'm not standing up for my principles when you don't even know what they are? I get, like, we're a little bit past directly naming me, so we might have gone off on a tangent. If you maybe accepted the phone call and we talked about it, you could have asked me, hey,
yeah, real life friends with Andrew Anglin, like, who gave to his defense fund. Like, get the fuck out of here.
what are your principles? And I can tell you the way I've been behaving is exactly in line with my principles. Now we're going to talk about the BDS list. We're going to start off with Frogan because obviously this is like as bad as it gets. If you're following Frogan, that can only mean that you're anti-Ethan. Oh, this is not a good start. Love of the H3 podcast. You are following Frogan, so that means that you are anti-Ethan. Sam, Morg Pie, friend of the show. Olivia, Ian, Daily Dose of Internet is anti-Ethan. Jesus, this is fucked up. Pokimane, comment etiquette. Oh shit, Asmongold's in here? Asmongold follows Frogan? No, Asmon. That means you're anti-Ethan. That's fucked up. We're gonna want to avoid these creators at the top of the list, but one tier below them are the creators who associate with them. They're essentially endorsing all of their statements. You got me, you got Anissa, I think Hasan's in there. You'd think that Hasan would be on the top of the BDS list, but that's not the case. Hasan provides additional value for people. Ethan can turn a blind eye to people collaborating with Hasan because that's what he did. You gotta be the lowest of the low to be associating with the Frogans and the Denhams of the...
No. He's mad about that too. He literally, ironically enough, maybe iDubbbz is not aware of this. I remember this. Ironically enough, after brigading the Trash Taste, the Brigading the Trash Taste podcast, so did fucking Asmongold. Asmongold did that as well. He turned his crosshairs on Theo Von. The irony, of course, was that Theo Von had literally one day before me, and I did not know this at the time, had Candace Owens on. And he thought that he could get Theo Von to look at me as an anti-Semite dangerous terrorist when he had Candace Owens on. And Ethan didn't give a fuck about Candace Owens being platformed by Theo Von. He was like, Hasan is being platformed by Theo Von. Does Theo Von know how much of a dangerous anti-Semite he is? Yeah, make sure Theo knows how you feel about hosting terrorist-adjacent creator. Do you not care at all about how you look, man? Like, think about that. Think about that, bro. Like, this right here is... There are a million examples of Ethan demonstrating that he doesn't give a fuck about anti-Semitism at all and only has this like personal agenda towards people that have said, I don't like what he has to say about Israel. He's just lost in the sauce. He's defending Israel, right? He can't stand that shit significantly more than he actually cares about real fucking anti-Semitism. That he turned around and got mad about this and not about fucking Candace Owens being on the Theo Von broadcast. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's so transparent. You don't have to be the smartest Ethan Klein foot soldier to recognize the inherent irony right here. Okay? Also, 1 minute ago, Jesus Christ, dude, screenshot from 1 minute ago. Holy fuck. I know his ass didn't actually clap that himself. He definitely got it from his subreddit that is actively now a hunting ground for other subreddits, as a matter of fact. So, you know, a lot of crossover with other subreddits there.
The world. To associate with Hasan, that just makes sense because he's famous and he's got a massive fan base. Also, Ethan still follows Hasan on Instagram, so Hasan is in his feed.
And that's showing up right up on...
Yeah, that's... I didn't even realize that, but yeah.
Us Nissa's and iDubbbz feed.
It's important to remember that this is a living document and people can be removed or put onto it depending on how Ethan's feeling that day. You have this other tier of creators that exist below Hasan but are still anti-Ethan, but Ethan really doesn't want to bring your attention to these ones because it's kind of unpopular, you know? A lot of them are famous. It's no coincidence that Ethan stays silent when these powerful, popular men are supporting Hasan. It's because Ethan is a coward. He's a bitch-made coward. I think Ethan has an unreasonable amount of respect for these comedians because they have power, they're quick, and I think he knows that they don't fuck with his ideology. But he's gonna keep that to himself because the last thing that he wants to discover is that people that he respects and looks up to, they don't fuck with him.
Bill Burr came on. It was like the worst fucking show. It was just horrible. That was like my lowest moment on podcast history. We could talk about Bill Burr, ruined my life. Bill Burr made Ethan go on Lexapro. I was prescribed it and it was in my bedside. And then it was the Bill Burr episode that made me finally start.
When Stavros goes on Hasan's stream and he mocks your content nuke.
I actually saw a really interesting video about you, man, and I don't know that I'm even comfortable being here anymore.
Oh, no.
It really kind of shed light on you in a way.
Yeah.
You kind of like have leftist politics and stuff like that, and I actually feel betrayed.
Yeah,
and so I'm actually just here to let you know this is the last time I'm ever coming.
You don't fire back. because you're coping. So you're just gonna tuck your tail between your legs and never mention on your podcast that mentions everything. You're bringing up some fucking connection I have on Twitter. Someone mocks you on a stream, you're not touching it. Fuck you, you're a coward. It's just his job. It's just what he does for his job. You know, he doesn't mean it. We're actually good friends. You know, he makes fun of everyone. It's not just me, right? Oh, also, I can't forget about Matt Lieb. Matt Lieb is in this like middle tier. His valuable association is Rhett and Link. So Rhett and Link, conveniently, are also in this category of popular and powerful men who Ethan does not want to burn bridges with.
Oh, Chad Felix. Oh, Felix is going to love this one. Oh, no, dude. Felix Mogg. Oh, dude. Maybe Ethan will finally talk about Felix. I know he's been begging for it. He wants this so bad. Oh, yeah.
Although he's sniffing around.
This guy, Matt Lieb, he works for Good Mythical Morning. Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, who apparently is a producer for Good Mythical Morning. Well, this guy works for Good Mythical Morning, acting like he's wholesome, and he's bringing on somebody.
Yeah, dude, classic canary mission ass behavior. Okay. Ooh, someone has said something mean about Israel. That's what Canary Mission does, right? They're like, well, gotta get him fired. For Ethan, it's not just about Israel, though, obviously. It's more so about his comments about Israel. God forbid anybody makes fun of Ethan. God forbid anybody has a disagreement on with Ethan. Holy shit, dude. Time to find out where they work. Get him fired. It's crazy. Yeah, he brought on Boner Box because people were like, hey, Ethan, we're in your fan base. We are pro-Palestine. Who can we watch? Like, this was a demand. People were like, who can we watch that's like a pro-Palestine content creator? And he was like, here, this guy, Mr. Snipe Job himself.
That wants to kill my wife or in a video game. And I think he should be fired, frankly. And I hope he is fired. He's pathetic. And he interviewed basically a terrorist.
I think Ethan only respects power right now, which is one of the reasons I made this video in the first place, is because he thinks I'm weak. He thinks a lot of these other creators that he's gone out of his way to attack, he thinks that they're weak, and he thinks they're a target that he can bully, he can manipulate, he can send lawsuits to. And I want him to know that we're not going to be bullied. You're being a piece of shit and we're going to call you out.
So here's the button. You've got a video and you've got an audio. We're hitting both.
Yes.
There's no point.
Let's leave.
Yeah, there's no need.
Yeah.
I don't want to. But shit. Like, how pathetic are you? Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I don't like pedophile. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach. You'll be living with your...
Dude, I think this button compilation also shows like the attitude change as well. Like the way he has like changed over time, not just like because he got physically healthier, right? Like I'm not talking about that, but mentally, like where he's at.
Parents for a lot longer, buddy. Yes, please. I want to be a good Jew. I'm a good Jew. Please, guys, please.
That's fine.
That was fine. Yeah, I don't think it was that.
That was fine.
Big a deal. Of all the things that it always surprises me what you think crosses the line.
Well, I looked at Olivia and she's like, yes, do it.
Now let's talk about the button. Ethan got this button, or kill switch, as a response to the controversy with Cutie Cinderella. He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he can change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Dan and Ela were like, we would kill button that right now if we could. I can't change who I am.
I know. That's why the kill button is on its way.
That's it. See, exactly.
He uses the button for everything. If his jokes don't land, he's hitting the button.
It was being presented as if the Jordan crying thing.
I hit the button.
Why?
I don't think I needed to, but you guys were giving me crickets, so I panicked.
If he's insecure about getting something wrong, he's hitting the button.
But okay.
You
what? Button for that? What on this frame could Ethan have responded to? Perhaps the country flag that he got wrong? Maybe. I don't know.
If he goes on a problematic tirade, he's hitting the button.
Before, look how sad. But yeah, it's not just that. Like their eyes are like big. I think you guys are wrong on this one. I think you guys are all wrong on this one.
I don't think he's unique in hitting the button. I think if all of us had buttons, we'd hit the button all the time. But if you don't have it, you operate differently. You think about what you're saying. You maybe plan for your show a little bit more. You maybe say, I'm not going to have my podcast be an emotional dumping ground for today. You instead say, ooh, it's important that we stay on topic. Also, the H3 community and Ethan himself use the phrase goblin mode all the time to excuse a lot of his shitty behavior or
what
make
is the button about is when he says something fucked up or says something that he's like insecure about. He just described it. He just hits the button, and then because the stream is on a delay, it basically erases that part of the stream. It cuts the feed, and it feeds you just like a sequence of cutscenes instead, and it wipes 30 seconds off of what the stream, or 20 seconds I think, off of the stream.
It seem less bad.
Like I've been diagnosed with goblin mode actually.
By claiming that what happens is he just gets into this like uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode.
I do not call myself goblin mode.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what you did. Goblin
mode, is that what you're calling Tourette's now?
Yeah, this person is being ableist when they use. This person is being ableist when they use the terminology that him and his community has started to use, you know? And anti-Semitic, possibly. I'm surprised that he didn't hit the... I'm surprised he didn't say it was anti-Semitic.
All victims of goblin mode, I would like to issue an apology.
You are goblin mode today. You're goblin mode. Look how many times you paused the
I'm trying,
video.
bro.
And I don't think there's no room for using the term goblin mode. I like the idea that you're defending yourself and the little guy by going goblin mode when a big corporation or a big entity is trying to attack you.
Like, if you fuck me over, if you steal money from me, if you patronize me, if you do any of this shit like you're trying to do to me, to treat me like a fucking idiot, I'm crazy, dude. I've gone fucking goblin mode over way less.
Yeah, what's crazy about this is like he started doing this to people that weren't doing that to him.
But you not thinking about what you're saying, not, reflecting on your behavior, not changing your behavior, that's not goblin mode. That's being a child. Let's talk about the crew. I think the crew has been put in the worst working environment that you possibly can be for a fucking podcast. Every crew member has it bad. To be around Ethan, period, would be a nightmare right now.
I'm standing by every fucking syllable of that, okay? What she did was abhorrent. And by the way...
Just don't. Listen, your critique of her is correct. It's just, people are sensitive about women being called that word. And so...
Like, how pathetic are you? You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not assuming his pronouns. And fuck all these people. Go ahead.
No,
and I'm not yelling at you. I'm just... Kelly is a black woman, right?
Yes.
Maziel is a...
Korean.
Oh, Dan, come on. You're being such a buzzkill. Yeah, I didn't know Korean. I asked if Koreans are POC. God.
Something I never hear anybody bring up is how Ethan mentioned your guy's old podcast that he was starting, the H3 Industrial Complex, but now DMCA's people. Yeah, for a brief moment, I think Ethan saw the Hasan Eclipse Industrial Complex and my attitude towards IP and thought it would be beneficial for him as well. And I think it would have been beneficial for him as well, but I don't think he cares about that anymore. I think, he's shown that he is willing to copy strike people for ridiculous things, like copy striking a fucking Redditor for posting a clip from his stream. Like, there is just no I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. That's just like the most ridiculous thing you could do.
You know, Dan's in the bathroom. Let's just not do this right now.
I asked if Korean people are POCs.
The one time the button didn't work and we listened to how he spoke to AB without thinking that the internet was going to hear it, it was rude, it was nasty, and it didn't have this caveat of like, I'm not mad at you. It was anger, and it was uncalled for.
Use they get access to cover most of
You're
it.
doing it.
What
You're
are
making
you
it
doing?
so awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like this is what I'm talking about when it's always like.
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro.
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I just I'm about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday, maybe. Is it? You guys like.
All right, I'm taking my hand off the. What? Okay, well.
Heard all that.
Thanks, button.
And he didn't want to take accountability for it. He immediately wanted to deflect, and he wanted to say that the button fucked him.
First of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you do.
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
it makes it.
I was being selfish.
No, dude, that button f***ed me, dude. Can you imagine that button f***ing me over like that?
The button fucked you? AB fucked you? Who fucked you? You fucked yourself by being an asshole. He makes it seem like he's not a tyrant of a boss.
You're doing it.
What
You're
are
making
you
it
doing?
so awkward and terrible. I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you do.
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it.
Dan, his producer, is constantly clarifying things on the air and making it clear that what Ethan said was a joke. Ethan is being overly defensive, or he's saying things that are like not true and he's exaggerating.
People saw that. They thought that was what you searched to
I did
pull
not
up that
type
photo. So I'm just clarifying.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate you doing that. God forbid.
It's okay because I buttoned it.
Why?
Because
it's not that big of a deal, man.
Just
Like,
your
how
inability to.
No. Hold on, Dan. How does it change anything? People knowing that we did it.
It's fun when it's a surprise.
Okay, well,
Well, you just asked how it changed
Surprise
things.
them on your show.
Okay, all right.
You know, I understand that that's his role, and he's, you know, Ethan's made that his job, or Dan's made it his job. Ethan leans on it so heavily, in the same way that he leans on the button. Ethan is leaning on all of these people to be adults and look after his behavior and give all of this emotional and empathetic energy for Ethan, but Ethan refuses to give it back to them. Also, let's talk about AB and Lena, two Lebanese employees, and you just continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer, for you to shut the fuck up about it. You're allowed to do that.
Hezbollah in Syria alone killed double that much. All right, I'm going to move on. I just want to play Hasan talking about bad empanada.
Ethan doesn't want to change, and he wants to bring the entire crew down with him because he's putting them in this position every day, right? But it's more important that he gets this shit off his chest. It's more important.
Yeah, that was, I assume he buttoned because he kept repeating the false information that Hezbollah personally had like fucking barrel bombed Aleppo or some shit. Like he was making it seem like Hezbollah had an air force that killed 500,000 people minimum during the entirety of the Syrian civil war. And the only reason why he was even talking about that was to fucking quote unquote dunk on me. That's the other thing. That's what's so crazy about it. He didn't give a fuck about any of this shit. He just thought that this would be a cool, like, I got you moment. And basically everyone that understands anything about any conflict whatsoever was looking at it like, no, this is wrong. But it doesn't matter because most people don't know anything. They just think big, scary terror guy doing big, scary terror things. So they don't actually fucking scratch the surface of this information and try to figure out if Ethan has any veracity to these claims whatsoever. Ironically enough, my position on Hezbollah in Syria has nothing to do with my conversation about why Hassan Nasrallah was assassinated and how it was not justifiable to begin with, alongside thousands of civilians in Beirut, by the way. That's what's so crazy about this whole process. Like he wanted to find anything that would make me look bad. Like that's what's so pathetic about it, if that makes sense. Like this is shit that I care about, okay? And I know that to a certain degree, it's stuff that Ethan cares about as well. At least like to a certain degree, managing the conversation around Israel or talking about anti-Semitism. Like these are things that he cares about, right? For sure. But the issue is everything comes back to petty grievances and drama with him.
That he dumps. We're all familiar with Goblin mode. Well, Ethan debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way, my ratio is pretty good. Like I'm looking at like 20 goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
What makes demon mode different than goblin mode is goblins aren't really like an intimidating, powerful force. If the goblin is persistent, it can get what it wants.
When I'm done with the other one, the big one that's dropping probably next week, my full attention is going to you, George. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
Ethan, the reason the internet got behind you when you were being sued by Matt Haas or when you were being sued by Ryan Kavanaugh is because people saw you as the underdog. They saw you as the guy who's defending the common man.
I'm suing and I cannot wait for you guys to read it. At the moment, we are writing 3 complaints for 3 people.
You are doing the classic rich asshole thing. You have a deficit of friends, you have a surplus of enemies. You feel really bad, you feel hurt, but you also have a surplus of money. So what can you do? You can use that money to bully and intimidate people. These public legal threats that you're making to fellow creators, these legal threats that you're making to people on Reddit, on Twitter, you're like, I'm hurt. These people are hurting me. What do I do to stop it? There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power, you have a ton of options, you have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich, is you can do all of these things.
I've never want to sue someone for defamation, but like at what point do you kind of fucking have to? I mean, this is like basically someone calling you a pedophile. Be like, yeah, you know, Ethan's a pedophile.
Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch, and being
Pedophile. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite. There are certain things you can accuse people of that rise above to make it like actionable, which is like wrongfully accusing someone of being a pedophile, a sex criminal, a murderer, shit like that. Dan Clancy
Online.
now, in other words, he is a pedophile.
Just the most oblivious person on the planet, dude. No self-awareness. Holy fuck. No self-awareness. Bro, one of his fucking fans showed up, rolled up to Dan Clancy in public. Okay? And I think, like, I don't know what the fuck they were asking him. I forget what the clip was about. But he literally posted it on his Instagram story, encouraging his fans to do this kind of thing. The only other time I've ever seen this happen was Destiny, when Destiny encouraged his fans to fucking come at me personally, okay? And Sam Hyde, ironically enough. They went up and they were like, why did Ethan Klein get banned? And the fucking CEO of Twitch was like, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. And he posted on his Instagram story. He was like, this is a brave journalist. It's so shocking.
You have so much less to go off of saying that than anybody has about
based
Dream.
on his looks. Just based on his
Well,
looks.
at least you're self-aware.
That's 100% a joke. I have no evidence to conclude that he is.
One of the more notable legal threats that Ethan has sent out recently is against Noah Samson.
I have nothing but vibes to gain, and potentially your money as well. Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. You're going to be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. 26, you know what I mean? Try 46.
Noah made a video that was critical of Ethan and other content creators when they're talking about Israel and Palestine. I mean, the way he's talking about Noah on his podcast is so fucking creepy and weird.
Is this a new thing?
This is a new thing. This happened during the show. Upon initial examination, it seems to check out, and it's not great for young Noah.
Can I say that? Don't say it yet.
I'll say it.
So he's a rape. So of course his standard. I don't know what he's accused of, so I'm not actually going to say. But
Ethan brought on a former partner of Noah to basically just shit talk him and say that he's a bad partner. But that's all that Ethan was able to extract out of it.
you are not accusing him of committing any crimes or doing R-word or anything like that. The accusation is that he's a sleaze.
Absolutely. Noah
Yeah.
Sampson, as far as I know, is not a rapist.
Fuck you to Noah Sampson, who's not just a liar and a scumbag, but also a creep. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now let's talk about the left-leaning Democrat.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things.
The thing that made me start to question Ethan's intentions is that when he was suggested to talk to Sam Cedar, a fellow progressive, a guy that Ethan respects and looks up to.
He works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report. I respect him and what they do there.
He kept saying that it was racist or anti-Semitic to suggest that he talked to someone who's within the same ethnic group as him.
That's why I said yesterday, like, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind anti-Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to. I don't think that I will be able to reach him.
What's the insinuation that I only listen to other Jewish people? You need to talk to my pre-approved list of Jews that like agree with me on everything. You know, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, dude. It doesn't matter if they're fucking Jewish.
I think most Jews.
I don't think Jews at large view it. I don't think that is the.
What in what position are you to even say that?
It's not motivated by myself. It's motivated by Jews against anti-Zionist
No,
Jews.
seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Ethan, I don't know what to fucking.
Yeah. If you want to know, because he said it was anti-Semitic, I told you guys. My text message to him that he never responded to on Thursday, October 24th. Okay? Thursday, October 24th, the last text message I ever sent to Ethan Klein. I read it on stream before. I'll read it again. I don't know what happened over the last couple of months, but I'm trying this as a last resort. I don't think you see me as an honest person at all, but I really think you should talk to Sam Cedar privately. You clearly respect him a lot more than you respect me, and he has lived experience. This, of course, in reference to Sam literally going to Israel, becoming an anti-Zionist over the years. Okay? Changing his attitude towards Israel. That's lived experience. This isn't about debates or drama or clips out of context. I have always admired and defended your open-mindedness and willingness to change your worldview. So I hope you will do this. In spite of everything that has happened, I hope you're doing fine. I hope your family is well and the crew is good. Also, not that it matters, but it was wild to see you using a clip titled Hamasabi from a Destiny community account in an unlisted link. He never responded to that. And instead, that was on October of last year. Think about all the things that he has said since then. It's fucking wild. No, not 2023, 2024. That is when he was already calling me a terrorist. At that point, he had already started calling me a fucking terrorist using unlisted clips off of YouTube from Sex Pestini's own fan accounts, unlisted clips titled Hamasabi. Those are the clips he was using on his fucking podcast to talk about his former podcast co-host, former friend. Because he had to prove something. He played Twitcher terrorist. After he went after the Arabs podcast for the Sabra Hummus shit alongside the ADL and successfully got a bunch of content creators banned for making a tier list, a joke tier list, where they stated that liking Sabra hummus was the equivalent of being the least Arab coded. Okay? Like a bunch of black content creators making a tier list about who has, a joking tier list about who has the N-word pass, right? If they were to sit there on stage and then say, person who has the pass at the top of the tier list and person who puts raisin in their potato salad in the bottom of that tier list. Okay? Now, don't say it's fucking still weird. Shut the fuck up. That is a direct analog here. Yeah. If they did a who has an invite to the cookout. Okay? Not the N-word pass, but like who has an invite to the cookout, if you want to fucking call it that. Over his extended crash out, he has unironically done shit that ended up hurting him in the long run too. Like, they pushed actively to get a politics tag alongside Sex Pestany and that other fucking freak, his lieutenant commander, Dan Saltyman, working with literal congresspersons, trying to get me banned before the election with no real reason other than pure malicious intent. Like, these guys don't give a fuck about anti-Semitism. What are you kidding me? They fucking say anti-Semitic shit all the goddamn time. Yeah, Dan the Diddler. The fucking Diddler commander of the Diddler brigades. The DDG brigades. Whatever the fuck. They call themselves the Dezbollah. They call themselves the Taliban. Anyway. They got the politics tag slapped onto Twitch. Okay? They actively tried to get fucking all advertisers to pull out of Twitch. How fucking insane is that? You're hurting thousands of content creators at that point. And it's not like like this was also in broad daylight too, until a Bloomberg article written by a fantastic reporter basically revealed all of this targeted Gamergate style brigading, this relatively sophisticated brigading campaign. And then they had to delete all this shit. And there wasn't a moment where I was like, I'm being gang stalked. You know what I mean? I didn't fucking run around and lose my goddamn mind. I just kept my head down and just kept doing what I do. Which is ironic because that's what I wanted Ethan to do from the beginning. Just stick to the fucking goofs and gaffs, man. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself in this process. You're the shadow of what you once used to be. You know what I mean? You're killing your own audience in this process.
Tell you, this is like step one of having a leftist ideology, is recognizing our race, religion, nationality, all this shit, all shape our experiences.
Yeah, random streamers with their country tags got their ad revenue removed and ban creators for a month before an election, forcing them to lose tons of money too. Yeah.
As people.
That's the reason why it'd be better served to have this conversation not with myself, but with an anti-Zionist Jewish person.
Why does it matter if they're Jewish?
Because I'm not Jewish, and you've said in this conversation that, like, how can you tell me how to feel about the situation?
Yeah, but how is one person a representative of Jews at large? I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
So yes, Ethan, on occasion you might be suggested to talk to someone who has some crossover with you. It doesn't have to be your ethnicity. It could possibly be someone who shares progressive ideology with you. It could possibly be someone who is of your same gender. I think Ethan understands this concept very well. He listened to these women on his show when they told him that he shouldn't be calling women bitches.
This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking bitch, Ken.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch, though.
She is a bitch. She's
what
a
do you-
fucking.
okay,
You're right.
I'm
I call her a
curious-
see you next Tuesday.
Listen, you have
Curious, what do Lena and Sam think about it?
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
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 I feel like that it's for the girlies, Ethan. But I
So
agree.
you guys all seem to be
Yeah.
in consensus that it's
are.
in poor form. I think to respect the women here in the room, I'm gonna have to pass on saying that.
Can he never say a bitch towards a woman? 60% yes. Jesus Christ.
The infantilization of Ethan Klein is fucking nauseating. He's not a child. He is absolutely capable of looking into Hasan, learning about his politics, interviewing, doing loads of things to figure out where he stands.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things. And for the first time, I noticed an inordinate amount of radical, hardcore leftists. I mean, I thought we were social democrats, not whatever this was. This comment from Hasan really started to sound some alarms in my head. I was already getting uncomfortable with our partnership.
You know what's funny? Here's how I know. This is one thing that I realized that this is where I realized he was being disingenuous, because I was like, is he actually a baby? Like, does he have a baby brain? Does he have a child's brain? Where I was like, these are my politics. We had a fucking politics podcast for 2 goddamn years. So clearly you know what my politics are. But maybe he's just a baby brain person, right? Like, fine. Maybe he didn't understand what I was saying when I said it to him. But then I realized in one of the clips that I saw of the context puke, where he actually talks about the first time we ever interacted. Okay? The first time we ever interacted, it was his podcast where I walk him through the steps of my America Deserved 9/11 moment. Okay? And he was very understanding. But in that podcast, where I also talked about my politics of what I believe, like social democracy in the interim is good because it marginally improves the living standards of all American workers. It's a good thing, but that's a short term. Obviously, in the long term, I want this entire system to change, right? And that is you might disagree with that. You might say I'm a revisionist. You might say that's not going to happen. You might be a revolutionary Marxist-Leninist vanguardist, whatever. Fine, okay? That's not what this point is. The point is that I was having this conversation with him, describing to him the steps of democratic socialism, okay, and how you arrive at democratic socialism and what my worldview is. And there was a bunch of socialist ass shit behind me when we were having that conversation. In the context puke, Ethan clipped that to make an argument about how I was actually a liberal, left-leaning liberal. He clipped his own podcast interview with me where I had a bust of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin and a USSR Ushanka, like prominently featured behind me as we were having this fucking conversation. He cropped it because even he had the wherewithal, in my estimation, to recognize that if he were to show that, people would go, dude, you're having a conversation with a guy that you thought was a liberal and he has fucking Lenin behind him? That makes no sense. So either he did that deliberately in an effort to massage the truth a little bit, or he got it from someone else who had the wherewithal to do that and fucking duped Ethan.
I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
You made how many episodes with Hasan? Like, this guy made a fucking program with the biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were. Bro, I didn't make the fucking leftist program. You did. You made fucking, 60 some odd episodes of this shit for hours talking to this guy? You didn't have a problem with any of it until, Ethan talks about being aware of Hasan's 9/11.
Yeah, it's so funny. He's like, oh, you groomed me as a 38-year-old adult. You groomed me into thinking that you were just a fucking liberal. No, the reason why he had this attitude is because he thought
if he posts it like if he posts this like as is, if he posts this fucking context puke as is, he can maybe convince other people. He can maybe dupe other people into thinking he's the victim here. Okay? That he wasn't fully knowledgeable of my worldview, that I actively told him over the course of 60 plus fucking episodes on a podcast that ran for 2 goddamn years, a political podcast that ran for 2 fucking years, okay, to a 38-year-old man. Because he hopes that his audience will watch that and go, oh my God, he is the victim here. Oh my God, maybe I'm the victim. Maybe Hasan actually lied to me too. And then he fucking slapped on a compilation of me saying, I hate liberals. Okay? Ironically demonstrating why I hate liberals in the process. It's like, he hates you. You're a liberal. He hates you. You're a Democrat. He hates you. He hates you. He hates Democrats.
Comments and then sort of leaves it at that. Like it was just a joke. Actually, I think Ethan describes them as edgy moments or jokes.
You might remember him from such classics as
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
Now, to be
Yeah, you didn't know I was radical?
clear, I knew about all these edgy and controversial jokes at the time we made the show together.
Controversial jokes.
Because who am I to judge?
No, Ethan, those aren't jokes, right? When someone makes a controversial statement like that, that's not them trying to be funny. I can understand why you would conflate the two. That is someone who is extremely frustrated and passionate about a particular topic. In this case, American imperialism and terrorism. You could have looked into that. You could have talked to Hasan a little bit more.
He did. He did. You know what's funny? Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find the fucking first ever Ethan Klein, Asia Productions, Hasan Abi. Let me see. There's so many fucking things that he's posted about me that it's going to be impossible to find the original video. I don't know if any chatters will see it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, I can't find it. Maybe you guys will have it ready to go. Oh, here it is.
Unfortunately, or this notion that like we're all going to become millionaires.
By the way, fucking Lenin, Che Guevara, USSR Ushanka, right there, okay? Let's see. South Carolina, Bernie versus Trump, marginal differences in policy. By the way, this is where I literally talk about all of my worldview and whatnot. The slippery slope, racism, crime, poor people, social fabric, Muslims, white evangelicals, Turkey, America, Alex Jones. Is this where it is? The America deserved 9/11, where I talked about like what it is? I must have hidden all of my thoughts. All of my thoughts were hidden to him. When he called, 4 years ago, when he called Hasan a liberal, Hasan's soul died. 4 years ago. Second spike from the right.
Worked openly with Nazis and white supremacists. And I mean like Nazis and white supremacists literally, like people who call themselves white supremacists or white nationalists, or have openly admitted that they believe that the white race is superior, like Stefan did in that famous video.
Oh, second one right here.
Started as like controversial or can be clipped out of context. I always say that. It's a meme in and of itself at this point. In order not to avoid terms of service.
America deserved 9/11 in a video.
My dad is lighting the kitchen on fire again, folks. Holy moly. Holy moly. Okay. I might have to deal with this real quick. Hold on.
Okay. It's just so ridiculous. Does it work?
Well, I got banned, so I don't know.
No, I don't think.
Capabilities. So that's part of what we're doing. And the other part is just knowledge. We want to know.
Someone said, is that 54? Is this it?
This.
Yeah, cancel culture, by the way, exclusively a leftist idea, yet for some weird reason, Republicans love doing it and manufacturing outrage.
Yeah, there was, so
Weird.
I don't know but Hasan basically was reacting to something, and he said jokingly that that America deserved. He said, "Fuck it, America deserved 9/11."
Yeah.
But then you went in to explain. By the way, did you?
We clarified it literally immediately
Yes,
after. I was like,
but
how I'm saying controversial, exactly what we did.
But did you know you were
armed
fucked
this-
though when you said that, because you said in a video
No.
game afterwards?
No, because everyone was like, why did you say that? You're going to get banned. So I was like, what do you mean? If you watch the entire video, I go, fuck it, dude, I'm saying it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how is anything I'm saying controversial? We literally armed the same groups and caused destabilization in the region. And then we're shocked when the very same people that we armed, gave weapons to, gave training to, turned around and hit us back. Like, how is that in any way remotely controversial?
Right. I think that's a conversation that takes place all the time. I think it's just the way you said it. People were like, oh, here we go. We got this young Turk, and then you're associated with the Young Turks, who, by the way, Alex Jones calls the Young Turds, which I think is hilarious.
Oh, I love Alex Jones. He apparently did a broadcast of that.
I've got the
of that
video.
moment of
I was
mine.
hoping to watch it with you.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Like, I was so happy. I love Alex Jones. I mean, it's very unfortunate that due to our completely destroyed public education system in this country, that like people take him seriously and then literally act on the psychotic things that he says, and that we can't all just appreciate him as like incredible content.
Oh my God,
incredible
so funny.
content.
Well, here, let me
like performance art.
And yeah,
wow, Ethan Klein, completely aware of how people can clip things out of context. But where was it? This isn't even what I'm looking for. I basically describe in great detail how ISIS formed, right? How ISIS formed, how it played how the material condition played a formative role in like radicalizing so many people into insane positions, like completely unjustifiable positions, while also describing the concept of blowback to Ethan. And he totally understood, or it wasn't even ISIS. I think I was talking about Al-Qaeda too. But no, I'm fairly certain I talked about ISIS as well. Okay. And it's just like, he got it then. And this is the first time we ever talked. So what happened?
Warren found out what his international politics opinions are, but you wouldn't even need to do that. You can look at it online. You're not a victim. You weren't tricked. You made 60 some odd episodes. If you didn't want to go down this route, you shouldn't have done it. But that was your fucking choice. You did it. You are an adult. When Ethan and Hila are watching Matt Lieb saying that one state doesn't represent all Jews, they cannot wrap their heads around the idea.
No single person represents all Jews.
I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
No single.
Isn't this also a Sam Cedar bit where they call Ben Shapiro the Pope of the Jews? That's Sam Cedar, right? For kind of this reason. That's why they always joke about Ben.
Person represents all Jews, as no single state represents all Jews.
This is another weird thing.
Oh my God.
Israel, this is a lie that I see Hasan and people pander. They say that Israel's going to war on behalf of Judaism. They have never, I don't believe that that's ever been stated. And I don't think Israel ever explains that it's like,
it's in the Constitution. What are you saying? How can someone so aggressively try to defend Israel and be so fucking oblivious, dude? That's crazy. There was a whole law change in Israel. There was a nation state law that dictated that Israel was a nation for Jews, by Jews, and only for Jews. I'm paraphrasing. Every aspect of Zionism from its inception, even though it was created by secular Jews, atheists that didn't give a fuck about Judaism at all, knowingly and willingly have entertained the notion that Israel is for the Jews, by the Jews, and it is for Judaism. It is in everything that Israel does. It is a false conflation. Why would you, on the one hand, adopt that framing? Yes, the law that I'm talking about is the basic law. Israel is a nation state of the Jewish people. This was quite controversial at the time. They were like, what? This is weird. But why would you say this while also simultaneously claiming, well, all Jews are Zionists? So when you say Zionist, you mean Jew.
I think Israel says it's a place where Jews can go.
Israel's just a place Jews can go? With that slogan, we might actually have peace. You know, if that's all you're defining Israel as, is a place Jews can go. Like, sure, it sounds like America to me. Like, all right.
I don't think that Israel said they represent.
Yeah, I ironically covered this all the way back in 2018 with Noah Colwin. Especially because none of my thoughts on Israel were ever hidden. Ethan knew my thoughts on Israel. I suspect he must have.
Present all Jews. I don't think that's a stance. We're like, hey, displacing Palestinians is all Jewish people.
Ethan is being so disingenuous here to suggest that he doesn't understand what Matt Lieb is saying. Like, he's making a semantic argument. Like, I don't think Israel has said that it represents every last Jew on the planet. I don't think Israel has claimed that. They're not going to say that their most genocidal behavior represents anything to do with them, okay? But what they are going to do is they're going to inexplicably link Israel and Jewishness together. So when they're being criticized, all of the...
Also, they do that. They literally do that. That false conflation is actively egged on by the Israeli state. Not only is the Star of David in the flag in and of itself, but besides that, there is no reason to fucking put Star of Davids on the fucking heads of Palestinian prisoners that they kidnapped. There's no reason to get tanks to draw Stars of David in the Gaza Strip. There's no reason to prop up a fucking menorah in the middle of the Gaza Strip as a symbol of conquest. Israel actively does present itself as the Jewish nation, of course, but while also simultaneously engaging in defense of Israel as a way, like it plays two different roles. Look at this. What do you think this is? Why are they doing this? You can get mad about it. You can be like, oh, how dare you? This is anti-Semitic, which is ironically, at the root cause of the IHRA debate. That's why Ethan himself has, at moments, and I've heard him say this, talk about how, people just substitute the word Zionism for Jew because all Jews are Zionists. He says this himself. So he's making that conflation himself.
All of a sudden, they have the perfect defense. Oh, another thing I need to mention. There was a tier list. It was called the Who Can Say Habibi tier list. It was presented at TwitchCon as like a panel that was just meant to be lighthearted and fun. And Ethan Klein saw that, and he decided that it was anti-Semitic.
Tier list them, and we're going to need your help to discuss and figure out who can say Habibi and who can't.
And also, we have tiers. We have Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. Like you got like a white guy who's like, can I say it? Is it a slur? And then Love Sabra, which is they're not Arab coded at all.
Now, when I first saw this tier list, I immediately knew what it was doing. I was like, oh, it's a play on the who has the N-word pass and who doesn't tier list. Granted, Habibi is very different than the N-word, but it is a cultural word amongst Arabic-speaking people and Muslim people. Like that is a word that's used. Habibi It means my love. Oh no, don't do that, Habibi. Oh yes, Habibi. You're my Habibi, I'm your Habibi. So yes, it's meant to be a fun way that these Arab content creators can express their Arab culture and be proud of it and happy about it, because it's not like they have massive representation on the platform.
Making a tier list based on race. And nobody has a fucking problem with that. Okay, you have a tier list based on race. Where's the Jewish panel? Where's the Jewish panel? Where at the top it says Jewish. It's a tier list based on Arab to Jew. He's Arab, which is good. That's the best thing you can be on this. That's the best. This is racist.
I will say that conveying information through a tier list is not the most effective thing, but Ethan should understand this principle. He did a white slurs tier list with Hasan.
Cracker.
I mean, you know what my take is.
We can't put this as an F. Cracker. I mean, that's got to be at least a D, right?
Pale face motherfucker.
Pale face. I mean, again, I think that's an F. Hog.
So hog is my favorite. I use it all the time.
Him and Hasan feel as though they're white guys, so they felt very comfortable talking about white slurs on their tier list.
I think I'm more white than you. What do you think?
I think I'm white. Like, I'm super white.
Can you understand why Arabs might feel comfortable talking about Arab shit on their tier list, Ethan? You're the white guy. You think you're more white than Hasan.
I think I'm more white than you.
So yeah, the white guy can say all the things that he wants, like cracker, but the Arabs can't have their tier list.
I would put him also in Arab. I know Turkish people are different.
Notice how they dropped the premise almost immediately that it's about who can say Habibi. And then it's like Hasan, okay, actually he's Arab. We fucking love him. He's dope. He's Arab.
Habibi is an Arabic word. That is an Arabic word, Ethan.
Funny about this whole thing is that they say Habibi in Israel. Again, people underestimate just how like mixed Israeli culture is. Like,
we say Habibi in Israel. Yes, Ethan. Another piece of evidence as to why it isn't anti-Semitic.
This is racist!
If you're not Arab or understand Arab culture at all, which is a lot of Americans, and Ethan Klein presents you this tier list and calls it anti-Semitic, you're just gonna eat it up. It's not. Ethan is just proving his location on this tier list under Love Sabra because he doesn't understand Arab culture. There's a lot of Arabs who eat Sabra. There's a lot of people like me who eat Sabra. A lot of the times it's all that's in the store, and I'm—
Boo. Sabra hummus is dog shit. And BDS, but also mostly just dog shit. Yeah, Ethan tried to say that Love Sabra was actually loves Jews. And I didn't even know this as the fucking expert of anti-Semitic dog whistles. Even I didn't fucking know that Sabra also meant cactus or Jew born in Israel. That's what it was. I don't think a single person knew that when they said love Sabra. They were talking about Sabra hummus, which is dog shit. You know? That's it. But Ethan did that classic thing that everybody loves doing, where you just think that no one is capable of making jokes. And perhaps for Ethan, it's hard to discern when someone is making a joke because they didn't falsely smear someone as a fucking pedophile. You know, that's the only type of quote unquote jokes that Ethan makes. So it's confusing to him. He's like, is this actually a joke? I don't understand. Why is nobody fucking defaming another person randomly for a minor disagreement?
I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna eat it, but it is not the good shit. Like the average Arab American, they're gonna go in the store and the only option they have is fucking Sabra. And that sucks that that's the only option, right? Arab communities and distribution facilities are not widespread across the US. So what are they left with? They're left with a common, relatable, shitty hummus, which is Sabra. And what's so fucking pathetic about this whole thing is after he was able to get these Arab creators banned off of Twitch for 30 days, he goes on to talk about how bad Sabra hummus is on his show.
I don't think anybody prefers Sabra over homemade like restaurant quality hummus. You know, it's what's there.
Like weirdly fluffy.
It is
Sabra.
fluffy.
Weird.
Yeah.
I would buy it sometimes and eat it. It's not the best,
The problem is with Sabra, in my opinion, it's only good for the first 2 days.
For some reason, like when you eat this Sabra shit, it just feels so much heavier. Imagine eating a whole fucking vat of Sabra. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've never liked hummus.
Oh, okay.
Well, you hate Jews then.
I don't.
And Arabs.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is racist. Yeah.
It's crazy that after he collected those scalps, and in the process, yelled at an Arab Jew that was also on that panel and got him banned too, and then subsequently called him a token, which is anti-Semitic. Okay. How dare you not unconditionally support the apartheid ethno-state? You must be anti-Semitic. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Then he does this fucking victory lap where he's basically like, yeah, I hate Sabra too, actually. You are not allowed to hate Sabra. He made a fucking video about it where he was like, Sabra is in the fridge of every Israeli Jew. What the fuck? It's our national pride or some shit.
Yeah, it's almost like you can have a discussion about Sabra hummus being a bad hummus without it being at all related to a Jewish thing or an Israeli thing. He can have that discussion as much as he wants on his podcast because we all know his intentions are anti-Semitic.
This is what he did. He hit his heart hard.
The Zionism is leading to not accepting other cultures, embracing their own culture, and instead thinking that that is an attack on you. There's this incident on the podcast where they were reacting to Cutie Cinderella, and Ethan was laughing during it. So that ended up being a pretty important wake-up call for Ethan. He made an apology video directed at Cutie Cinderella, and it was graded by a professional psychologist, Dr. Kirk Honda of Psychology in Seattle. And Ethan got an A+ rating.
In terms of a public apology, this is A+.
Ethan won't stop talking about his A+ rating.
You know he rated my apology to Cutie Cinderella a perfect score? A perfect 10.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Literally 10 out of 10. Go back. I can teach you how to make a good apology. I'm the best at it.
10 out of 10.
I know what a perfect apology is, lady. You fucking don't. Is my perfect apology in this PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10.
This one is actually best apology, so.
Ethan, Klein, you guys, oh my God.
I was trying really hard to think about an impactful moment during this video. Like, could I do something that would really wake Ethan up? And
should have reviewed his N-word apology. Does he have an N-word apology? I genuinely don't know. I actually don't know. Wait, are you guys setting that up to be like, nope, that's the joke? Oh. Okay, well. My mistake. My mistake.
I don't know if this came from a good place or not, but I came up with the idea of getting Ethan's grade changed from an A to a B at least. So I went to visit Psychology in Seattle. I'm not confident that Kirk will change his grade, but it's worth trying. And, you know, we might learn a thing or two.
Xander! Probably get pretty low marks. Unlike me, perfect score, 10. I said, hey, Lud, no wig drama. Why are you such a spineless coward of a person now that you've inserted yourself and your girlfriend into this conversation?
Okay, iDubbbz, I hear you. You're in the room with me right now. I hear you. I hear your request. I understand it. I can understand where it's coming from. And I guess have a policy that when there is a grade for an apology, I am just grading that discrete apology as I see it without taking any consideration of prior or future behavior. If you're wanting me to comment on the overall behavior or the recent behavior from the clips that you have shown me, I believe that Ethan is a good person and that eventually he will feel sorrow and will feel sorry and will apologize, and I will be there to evaluate that apology when it happens, which I know it will.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Unfortunately, Kirk did not change his grade, but that's okay because this is the internet anyone can have their own official apology rating system. So I'm going to rate Ethan's apology a B-. That's just based on my own feelings and my own rubric. When Psychology in Seattle was watching these video clips of Ethan, he said that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug. Now, of course, it kind of pisses me off to hear that shit, because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. I think something that's very important to me in bringing back Content Cop is to be fair. I think that was something that was not illustrated in previous Content Cops that I think should have been, and probably wouldn't have left me with so much regret. Ethan deserves all of the criticism that he's getting. I think it's very valid. But I also think, at the end of the day, we should acknowledge that he's human, because he is human. And he is in a situation that's making him extremely scared, paranoid, defensive, sensitive, and I'm sure other features and feelings. In the spirit of Kirk saying that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug, I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him, because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet. I think a lot of other people respect you for it as well. I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think it's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic worldview. I know it's not easy.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy, when you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that. That'd be sick.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports for good that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think Ethan Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good, and I think he's got a good choice of facial hair. I think it's really cool what he did 8 years ago, fighting that frivolous lawsuit. That was pretty fucked up, and fighting it, he changed YouTube for the better. And I thought that was cool, because I thought it was like he was fighting for free speech.
I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neil. I'm like, fuck, it's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
And I have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get more defensive and more hold up, a feeling of almost infallibility, that I could take anything on. It led me to make a lot of mistakes, and then when I was criticized for those mistakes, then I would act extremely defensive and nasty and not really processing them in a healthy way.
Goddamn. Cinema. Where's yours? I didn't do one. I'm glad that other people did. Frogan did, but you didn't? Yeah, I didn't. Partially because I don't think it would have been helpful. The reason why I don't think it would be helpful is because, and this is what I told iDubbbz at the time, I was like, listen, I've made my position known in terms of wanting Ethan to get better, and I've said it so many times that at this point, it literally is just repeating the same thing that I've said over and over again. And that I don't think he will ever view it charitably. Like, I just don't think that he will look at that and see it as productive. Because in spite of all the things that Ethan has done, in spite of everything that he's done, I still want him to get better. I still want him to, take some time off, really reconsider what he's done this entire time, and get better. And someone might look at that and go, I mean, yeah, he made a 3-hour doc about you specifically, so yeah, you'll always be a villain to him. I know, that's That's what I mean. It's just like I have maintained that level of charity to this day. And that hasn't changed. And some people even fucking say, oh, you just want him to get better because you want him to stop talking about you. And it's like, yeah, there's a level of self-interest there for sure. It doesn't really matter. Like Ethan trying to tarnish my name, Ethan trying to come after me has demonstrably not worked. He's not the first person that has decided I have a political disagreement with this person and I'm going to do everything in my fucking power to constantly call this guy a piece of shit and make my audience hate him. This is my entire career. I'm a fucking leftist online, dude. What are you talking about? I'm live 8 to 10 hours every day. Of course, I open myself up to attacks just on that alone in perpetuity. It's not new. Ethan will not be the last person that comes after me and kind of loses their mind in the process. So, yes. And Steiny asked me this question as well, ironically enough, on the podcast that we did. And I said the same thing there. I wish him well. I don't think that all of this stuff that he's engaged in is good for his mental health. And it feels like it's so bad for his own personal mental health that like it unironically is visibly deteriorating him. So that's the reason why I didn't repeat exactly what I've said a million times over. Because I don't think that he would look at that and reflect on it. I think it would have an unproductive effect because he considers me to be, and judging by what he has said, and that's just scratching the surface. Like, iDubbbz did not tackle most of it. Ethan buttoned AB. Ethan announced he's spending his summer break to do a part 2 of Context Nuke. I think eventually this is going to turn into him just rehashing it over and over again, and finding new things to yell about until it's just like an audience of 10 people. It's not healthy. It's not going to change the truth, and it's certainly not going to change people's perceptions of you. So in this process, all you do is basically hurt yourself for seemingly no reason other than hoping that one day magically people will actually recognize where you're coming from, change their entire worldview, and decide, no, you were right all along, actually, Ethan. We were wrong. Like, all Jews are Zionists, actually. And therefore, criticizing Zionism is criticizing Judaism. Like, you're correct. Like, that's not going to happen, especially not when Israel has refused to stop. You know?
We're going to go visit. We're going to show our kids how wonderful and great it is. While they're actively genociding a people, you are downplaying that.
What is this? What is this clip?
He's making though? Is that not the point he's making though?
See, and this is one of the saddest parts about his impact. Turn this off. There's a genocide going on. Like, his fucking dumbass foot soldiers come in here and just use this as a talking point. Like, the only time where they ever recognize that there is a genocide is to cynically use it as a talking point. It's so fucking gross, dude. Please reconsider what your output is online, okay? Reconsider what you're putting out there, chatter. It's fucking disgusting. It's weird. It is a weird and gross thing to do. You sound like a fucking Nazi. You might be a literal Nazi. God damn. Like nobody, when you do this, when you say this, no one, especially in this community, but in most places, is going to look at that and be like, wow, that's a brilliant joke. You know who will find that a brilliant joke? People who also don't recognize that Israel is committing a genocide. That's it. The only people that you are surrounding yourself with are other people who also are pro-Israel. Those are the only people you'll get laughs out of when you say something like this. For everybody else, they're like, wait, what? What the fuck's this person saying? Are they like virtue signaling? Are they actually being sincere? Yeah. And the inherent irony of it all, in terms of like there's a genocide going on statement that I kept repeating over and over again, was for the course of the year, over the course of the year, where Ethan was like saying a bunch of really fucking insane things that people understandably clocked as being pro-Israel or in defense of Israel. They would bring that stuff over here to me, and I was like, there's a genocide going on. I don't care about what Ethan Klein has to say. Ethan Klein is not your fucking enemy. Okay? It was literally for me to redirect the attention over to what I wanted to talk about, which was what Israel was doing to Palestinians on the ground. And he so selfishly and so cynically clipped all of those parts and showed it to his audience as me simply going, oh, I can't do this. There's a genocide going on. Oh, I can't do that. There's a genocide going on. As though it's like just a talking point. It's so fucking insane to me, dude. It is so gross and so fucking insane. Anyway. Did Ethan watch this? Did he actually end up watching this video? When it was relevant, you redirected combos. That's it. He's 10 minutes in, 2 hours in. Jesus Christ. He's watching it piece by piece. Literally pausing more than you ever have. He's watching it now, but AB has been silenced. Oh, that's fucking cool. That's cool. It's a nice thing to do.
Wow.
Yeah, where's this from? I don't know what pizza place this is.
It's like Pizza Hut. Or Papillon. It looks like Papillon.
Oh, it's Papa John.
Where's Hawk to take a bow?
Take a bow, Hawk. He might not want to.
Zane, you get pizza? Good.
So good.
Very good. Did we say you could have some? I'm just kidding. Obviously.
Give me a minute here, guys.
Look at the poll.
What kind of pizza? Oh,
Hawk,
this
everybody.
is like this is like
right
not
here,
major
Hawk.
chain.
Where's the poll?
There's the camera. There's your camera right there.
Is Ethan busted?
Wow. Take a bow. Yeah.
What a guy.
Thank you so much.
What a guy.
It's so kind of you.
He still thinks that content comes about Israel-Palestine conflict. I mean, it partially is. It's partially about the Israel-Palestine conflict, but it's also a lot about Ethan and what he considers.
Oh, it's a random spot?
What
You don't
Ethan
wanna call it
considers
out.
to be is
Why, you didn't like it?
like, or what,
Did they
how
screw
Ethan
you?
presents himself, how Ethan carries himself.
Oh, okay, got you. We ain't doing that.
We ain't doing that.
Anyway.
Has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information. And that would be
My employees feel the
so
need?
wrong.
What are you even talking
You're so
about?
far from.
Why are you making shit up, bro?
horrible. They shouldn't be doing that.
They shouldn't be
sending you things that upset you.
They literally don't.
Well, some people do that.
Yeah. I'm just making it clear that I do not.
No.
I go out of my way not to. I feel like you got enough things pissing you off all the time. I like to send things that make you laugh.
This isn't one of them.
Right.
This is a solo journey. This is on the Ethan Klein channel. Your point makes no sense. I did this on my personal channel.
Right.
I didn't include the crew at all.
When Ethan does this,
I literally have never seen that video.
Dan didn't even know.
I didn't even watch that one.
Thank
I
you, by
wasn't
the way.
joking earlier. I usually watch them. Earlier I said I don't watch the Ethan Klein videos. It's not totally true, but that one I've never seen.
No, apparently.
You don't have to.
Yeah, apparently.
Side project.
They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you. Why
Good
is there
advice.
so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions?
Bro, are you trying to defend yourself by saying he's small and therefore we shouldn't have to tell him to fuck off? His tweets were getting a ton of traction on our subreddit, like thousands of likes.
Yeah, if you want comfort people, it's our fans that post it to the subreddit that try and piss you off all the time.
But I don't even.
No hate to our fans, you know. No disrespect, but
They're not trying to piss us off. I mean, listen, if something is happening in the world, we should know about it.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and that,
right.
Can't just live
in this
under
case,
a rock and
Just
assume
not
that
something in
nothing is
Israel.
happening.
If something in Israel is happening, we should only know about a perspective that, you know, shelters Ethan from the truth about Israel's behavior so that he can say the dumbest things on the planet, like, Yoav Galan seems like a good guy, a moderating voice, actually.
It's a screenshot of the subreddit. What?
Linking him to me and posting on the Reddit when there's no work being put into who the fuck is the person on the Reddit who's posting this.
What? Are we doing? Are we fucking?
Wait, maybe he's. Hold on, maybe he's cooking here.
Okay.
Icarus drowned. Who is Icarus?
I don't know who, whatever Mossad agent he thinks this is, but like, if it has thousands of upvotes, I'm not fucking caring about who posted it. Clearly, people find it interesting.
In the first place. If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped.
This doesn't absolve you of being a shitty friend, dude. It doesn't matter who this person is or why they're posting. Apparently, they're a Destiny fan, which is the most incriminating thing.
Right. I don't know why my mind didn't go there. I thought it was.
Yeah, interesting, man. It just feels a lot. It just feels weird because you used to actively knowing full well that Destiny had the tendency to brigade your subreddit, would combat that sort of thing, and then let it fucking unleash upon your community. And now here you are.
Well, to be fair, I do usually do that when I'm like see a post that I think is kind of sussy, and I I look at the account and see where they're like posting or whatever. But
and what I was going to say is that he's showing a comment from Snark.
Right.
He said that iDubbbz is on H3 Snark. Let that sink in.
Sick.
And he cares to care so much about our crew members.
Points this out is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit.
Bro, you are actually on H3 Snark. That is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So apparently the most reputable place that's never lied about me is his source for this is a comment on Snark?
A top 1% commenter.
My mind is bending.
Power user.
So embarrassing.
Listen to the person listen to the person who obsessively hate watches you, Ethan. Come on.
Okay, I don't know if this is real, but there is a super chat from somebody named Icarus saying, "I'm Icarus drowned. I'm literally just a liberal and a Jew." Okay.
Busted. We found out he's Jewish. Well, I think
they're more concerned about lifelong Destiny fan because this is like the.
But that
this is where it all ties back.
Bro, I feel like I'm watching someone get actively gaslit in real time by dudes who are also sub 80 IQ. It's not like these guys are fucking brilliant. You know what I mean? Like the people that are gaslighting him are literally anonymous trolls that use him like a fucking napkin. Okay, they use him like a fleshlight.
That's it. That's it.
Do you know that that's it?
I mean, he's moved on. One comment on Snark.
Okay. Right.
Has proven that Destiny fans are hijacking my brain to be offended by anti-Semitism.
Ethan's own community. Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me. So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable, and fucked up towards Ethan and Hila on Twitter. But Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Now I'm going...
Wait, what? You of all people should find that funny. You can't be serious, bro. You can't be serious right now. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, bro.
Ethan and Hila are doing...
By the way, I call Hasan a terrorist supporter because he literally is. Like, he literally is a terrorist supporter. Provably.
He's got 5 gifted from Mudahar, by the way.
Oh, what's
Shout
that
out,
player?
Ordinary Gamer.
I saw he made a
Damn,
comment.
Dan.
I missed it.
Really?
I put in the chat.
I guess Dan.
Mega awesome nerd. One of
Okay,
our
Dan.
mods says Snark literally said I was a liar for saying I saw racist shit on them, even though I found a thread.
What the
in
fuck's
2
going on?
seconds
He's
where
literally
top
being
comments
molded
that
into a
Avery
lolcow
is
before our
Ethan's
eyes. I
token
mean,
black.
most likely, yeah.
There you go. Stop seeking out stuff that will annoy you.
This man made a content cop where his primary evidence is one comment on Snark.
I don't think that's the whole point of the
same
content
shit on
cop,
their
man.
podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile. that guy's...
Is it not given any more context? Is he just like popped?
No,
that in?
that's it.
So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Now I'm going to watch and...
That's it. That's it. That's the own.
Oh my god, what is this edit? This video is so bad.
That's the own, guys. So far, his evidence is me saying I think the river to sea is offensive and explaining why, or explaining why Israelis are uncomfortable with it. I think I was even more delicate with the way I said it. One comment from Snark. Is that it? Was there something else?
Yeah, y'all thought I paused a lot, bro. This is
You
craziness.
Scrolled a Twitter thread that had a bunch of Hitlers, which again,
How dare
even after you, I didn't really understand your explanation. I don't really get the point that he was trying to make.
Oh, him? No, me either.
Yeah.
I think like I said, I think he's saying is you seeking it out, but it's your fault for seeing that. Is
That's
what
what
he's
he's
trying to
saying.
say. From
And-
what I understand,
It's such a weird point
And
that I
also
guess it's
for
just
sending
like
your
not getting
employees
through
to
to
send
me.
you stuff like that, which we don't, and you
Yeah.
guys don't. So he's wrong and wrong.
Yeah, that's definitely what he's saying. I don't want to see any other way
No.
to interpret it.
You're saying it's not just your employees, it's people on your subreddit manipulating you.
Call us spineless cowards.
Check.
Yep.
Looks like that dart hit a bullseye. Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like she's a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit, and that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and iDubb's feed. My good. Do you not see why that would upset me? Is that a mystery, my friend? Good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
You don't know what's on my feed. What the fuck?
Well, you actually just described that you do see his tweets, and some you agree, and a couple you didn't. Wait
Right, he actually-
the C word. So
That's a good point, Hila.
Explained.
Huh?
I think I explained that she was
She
was
was
in their
interacting-
chat
she
or
was
something.
interacting
She
with Froggy
interacted-
Fresh
Interacted
still.
with it at some point, but
Yeah.
I meant-
Hila's point is even better. He literally just said that he's seen these tweets.
yeah, he just said so himself. So.
And that he even agreed with some of them, but he didn't like them to not stir the pot or whatever. So
I don't think this person is going to understand the
said he
it is
point
your feed.
with
being
It-
made.
It sounds like it's your feed.
It is, yeah. Well, so the reason what I saw was him.
Yeah,
was
I think
Anissa
the goal here is
interacting
to
with Denims in chat, talking
basically
about how I was
watch this
wrong.
in 3.5-second increments in an effort to
And by the
say
way,
that he watched
let's
the whole
not
thing,
address what it is
but
that
basically to
was said about
showcase to
me,
his
right?
audience, like,
Clearly,
oh, I
that's
watched the
not
whole
as
thing. It
bad
was all a
as
bunch of
being
nonsense.
spineless, right?
And misinterpreting every statement along
Anyway,
the way
this guy
because
was
it's 3
saying shit
seconds
like
long.
that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like she's a IDF.
And then
baby
he
killer,
kicked
all
out
this types of
AB
shit.
because AB
And that's showing
disagreed
up
with
right
him.
up on us Nisa's and iDubb's feed.
Dan is actively preventing them from realizing that people will find this shit so disgusting. Yeah. Yeah. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter because, you know, people will be able to see the reality on their own, I think.
You literally showed it.
Because you said it.
You literally just told us a minute ago.
You're on video.
I know what's on your feed. And I mean, clearly, right? Based on this video.
This is how he reacts to you as well?
The For You tab. For all you know,
This is your own? You don't know what's on my feed? Let's not address the fact that my friend called Gila a genocide
Did he
murdering
actually kick out
baby
AB? I actually
killer.
don't know. Someone said
Wait,
that
your
he
friend
wasn't
did?
on the wide shot after he buttoned him.
Oh, his friend.
After AB defended a point that iDubbbz was
Address
making.
this by saying, you don't know
You don't
what's
want
on
him to respond to each point? No, of course. I do want him to respond, but I want him to also understand and internalize. Like, it's ironic because Ethan will say, Hasan, you haven't watched my Context Cop or Context Nuke, sorry. And I have. I didn't actually have to watch Ethan Klein's compilation of it because I had literally addressed those exact same criticisms that he fucking compiled on his subreddit that he basically compiled from Destiny's subreddit months before he actually posted the Context Nuke. That's the irony of it all. Ethan knew what my answers were to a lot of the things that he posted on there. He could have very easily figured it out. He just chose not to. Especially because he did not want to understand. Yeah, there has never been a video response to someone making a video before that fucking video comes out 3 months prior. You know, at least he had the balls to watch it live on the spot. This is one of my funniest, one of my favorite types of cope that people have. What he's doing right here is precisely the reason why I would rather have this conversation man to man in front of Ethan. If you think I'm afraid of him, why the fuck would I actively want to talk to him directly? Like, you guys clearly have to understand, if you're even invested in like the content of it all, even if you care about the blood sport of it all, you have to recognize that I'm willing to go to where he's at and have a conversation directly with him, uninterrupted. I've even said I would watch the content, the content nuke side by side with him if that's what it takes. This man is a professional dodger of criticism, okay? He does not think that there is any criticism, especially at this stage. He does not think that there's any criticism that's valid. He actively runs away from it. He shelters himself from the truth, so much so that it has built enough resentment, that people fucking unironically have created secondary communities. Okay, can you stop being a dumbass and sucking off Nasrallah for rage bait? He was a disgusting piece of shit outside his advocacy for Palestine, from his genocidal homophobia to his role in Syria. It's so fucking funny. You'll scream at Chav for scaring off normies over tepid leftist criticism, and then you'll valorize Nasrallah to trigger people, which actually scares them off and hurts your message, dumbass. You are dumb as hell for not doing this with a nuke. People can go to this to refute the iDubbbz video. You have nothing. Nobody's going to search a 6-month-old VOD on your channel. They would look up a direct response. You reacting to him, react to this, but not the nuke, make you look like a pussy to normies because you can just refuse your live convo. Get over that shit. I like that this dude literally thinks that the only people that actually looked at the context nuke and thought it was valid were dumb babies who have no understanding of any of the things that Ethan talked about, considering that it has been fucking undermined 1,000,000 times over, and that I would rather have a conversation directly with him. But that's somehow not bravery. That's actually cowardice. To be able to have a conversation with him directly is cowardice. I should have just piece by piece addressed every single dumb fucking thing that he said, so that he could clip my reaction also out of context and then keep presenting it to his audience in the most nefarious ways possible. I'm saying I'm willing to have this conversation in person. It is the greatest fucking way to deal with this issue. He has ran away from it, just like he ran away from fucking Twitter because he's scared that people will call him out. That's why he only fucking attacks people from Instagram stories. And you're over here trying to defend this shit. Meanwhile, everyone with 3.5 fucking brain cells has already recognized what Ethan is doing over and over again over the course of the past fucking 15 months.
But no, I'll unban you. Don't worry. Don't worry, big dog. I think you're wrong. You also had this kind of attitude towards Asmon as well, I think, if I remember your username correctly. It's just weird. As a 15-month subscriber, maybe we have a difference in agreement on some of these things. But it's just odd that you constantly find yourself on the weirdest side of every argument. Hey, watchers come in here and say, watch the nuke as if it weren't literally here for every moment that was clipped for that video. Like, brother, we were not here only for the clip. Yeah, I know. The idea that a community like this one, okay, that is already much more aware of what the fuck's going on in the world is going to be like, oh my God, Ethan Klein of all fucking people made some really solid points. I didn't realize this guy was a scary, dangerous propagandist. Like, are you that stupid? Why would you actively admit that you're that stupid of a person? Oh. What the fuck was I expecting from a 2009 account? Bro's brain has been fucking warped. It's genuinely amazing how you can see Ian's journey into a better, kinder, more empathetic person to the extent where he took what used to be a vehicle for hate, watching, and turned into a message of disappointment and care about a lost friend with hope for a better future. Yeah, I don't think people care about that stuff. I don't think Ethan cares about that as well. You have reacted to so many different... you've reacted to so many different parts of the content nuke. Has Ethan responded?
Hasan is watching Bad Empanada, who, by the way, cosplayed as a Hamas terrorist to kill Hila in a video game.
Yeah, dude, you know what's really funny about this? Bad Empanada played that game that's like supposed to be the reverse of Call of Duty. The goal that he was trying to do with that as a troll was to show how different the double standard is. Ethan ate that bait and has not shut the fuck up about it in perpetuity. The irony, of course, is that every single fucking Call of Duty is literally killing Muslims. Muslims are the enemies. That doesn't track in Ethan's mind as like a weird thing. He doesn't understand how this plays a role in creating resentment towards random fucking Muslim people and brown people that you've never met before, that you've never seen before. He doesn't understand how social conditioning works in this regard. Or maybe if he does, he doesn't give a shit about it. He likes it. Okay? That's what it is. So when someone flips the script in that regard, he personally loses his fucking mind, demonstrating the point that fucking Bad Empanada was trying to do, which is, of course, trolling, while also simultaneously showing the double standard here. And it's something that I've referenced quite a bit as well. It's something that I believe I even brought up with Steiny. If someone were to say that they want to nuke Tel Aviv, they would get banned. If someone were to say they want to nuke Tehran, they would not get banned. This is a double standard. If someone were to say they want to nuke Afghanistan, they would not get banned. But if someone were to say they want to nuke Washington, D.C., they would get banned. This is the double standard. That's it. What you consider to be perfectly normal, perfectly permissible behavior versus what you think is completely beyond reason, when both parties in both of these circumstances still are human beings. They're equal. They're even. At the most basic level. That's the point. That's the argument that Bad Empanada is trying to present here in the trolliest, silliest fucking ways possible, because he's an insane person. I've talked about this a lot. It does not matter. But he ate that bait and constantly fucking just relitigates that. What did you say?
By the way, extra hilarity, Hasan is watching Bad Empanada, who, by the way, cosplayed as a Hamas terrorist to kill Hila in a video game.
Yeah, is Ian gonna mention?
So that's not good.
On your stream.
Wait, that's what I'm... Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty... Why did he include that? If it's like, this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people...
Dude, I love...
Whoa.
Yeah, the shoes thing is weird. That's...
He's saying that you're resorting to like incredibly weird, personal, petty resentments that you have because you hate everything about me. and you are not even ashamed of showing how much this beef is not about anti-Semitism, but simply about your own personal vindictive nature, your own personal revenge fantasy. Your parasocial recollection of that chatter was correct. They talked about your tweet to Asman back on March 18th. They said it was stupid to call him out. Yeah, I know all my fucking chatters. It's even the dumb ones, okay? Like the, what is it, Miyazaki's accountant. I know. He also always masquerades this as like defending me, but it, weirdly enough, I guess he couldn't take it, so he unfollowed me, only to follow me again just to fucking complain once again. Very strange, but the reality of the matter is there's a lot of fucking weirdos in here, okay? I'm sorry. You know, I love the collective, but some of you individually are not very sane people, okay? This is one of those people. If you put together a well-made YouTube video on the puke like you did for the last banning, people would have an ability to easily see your points. People aren't going to look through 999 hours on a Vaz on a YouTube channels to find context for clips. Like Bad Empanada, but he was dumb for talking about looking at secretary as well as that playing that game. It was like someone playing COD and looking for you to kill. Yeah, except people do that all the fucking time. He just literally compare me to Osama bin Laden. Also, that aside, I'm not even defending Bad Empanada doing that. I'm saying that Bad Empanada is a fucking troll and does unhinged shit in general. I just described to you what his purpose was, okay? You don't have to agree with him to understand what he was trying to do. Now, that's number one. Number two, okay? I have done this, okay? The only thing I didn't do was take advantage of the algorithmic boost that I would have gotten to do a point-by-point analysis on everything that fucking Ethan Klein had erroneously stated. Because why would I? Why should I? Ethan Klein's extended crash out in the aftermath of the context puke that didn't fucking unfold in the ways that he had envisioned because he's so goddamn narcissistic has already caused him to collapse in and of itself. The arguments were so silly that it basically operated as a fucking filter. For people who are completely oblivious to the reality, they looked at that and they went, oh, this is a scary guy, isn't he? And over the course of many, many years of millions and millions of YouTube clicks, in the exact same way that Ethan Klein had made the context puke, people have made up their minds. Either they have this opinion over me, and one day they will accidentally arrive at the context on their own and realize that they've been duped, or they will carry on that resentment permanently, and there's not much I can do about it. But in the process, if you noticed, this community kept growing. I kept collaborating. I kept working with other people. I kept doing what I always do. I kept fundraising. I kept going to fucking protests, rallies. Perhaps I know what I'm doing. Perhaps if I were to go down at that very moment, when I was in Japan too, of all places, go down this fucking rabbit hole of doing back and forth clips out of context over and over and over again, maybe I'd be at a very different place right now. I guess we'll never know. But I'm very happy with the place that I'm at in the aftermath of the context puke. And the reality of the matter is, Ethan does enough on his own due to his lack of curiosity, due to his inability to comprehend how other people think, due to his inability to see the world to see the world beyond his horse blinders. He already consistently will farm an audience that is looking for outrage, especially against like common enemies, you know what I mean? While also simultaneously, he will keep eroding what made him who he was. He keeps losing what made him Ethan Klein, okay? What made him a lovable character. Do you understand? Let him fall on his own sword if he chooses to do so. That's why I said, your mods actually know how to deal with weirdos better than you. Yeah, that's why they keep banning you, you fucking idiot. Why are you calling yourself a weirdo? That's so funny. Asked for the ban because I became too focused on bullshit internet drama and needed a break. Can I get an unban now? Mad at one-day ban and crashing out as a result. Requested permaban for own mental health. Too drama-pilled and constant de-engagement has made it worse. Feel free to unban once they wish to chat again. I'm over my drama period. Can I get an unban? Unban. Request it again. Unban if they ask. Come on, dog. What are you doing? Be an adult, okay? I know you're capable of being a fucking adult. And for the record, no, don't dunk on this chatter. Some of you have been exactly like him, okay? Brother, he's silencing Noah. More people are publicly on Ethan's side than are yours. He's getting 3 million viewed videos, and his live views are stable now. Cutie lost a sponsor to the Streamer Awards. You're just being stubborn and can't accept who's winning this. Online, also just sue him. Literally made up quotes for saying your anti-Semitic slurs in this puke. That was my point, man. Yeah, dude. I don't want other people to humiliate you, but I think that your understanding of what's going on here is entirely out of whack. What the fuck are you talking about? I literally interviewed Bernie Sanders and had, and I'm going to be on the fucking Daily Show next month, and you're over here being like, nah, more people online actually think Ethan Klein is in the right here. More people are publicly on Ethan's side than are on yours is hilarious to say. There is no winning, by the way. There is no fucking winning. There's no winning and losing. The only person who's losing in this process would be me as well if I just entertained it over and over again. Daily Show? Yeah. Daily Show. The Daily Show. You slip up. We were supposed to know the Daily Show. No, I talked about it already. Jordan Klepper was in my house. We did a fucking piece together. What do you mean? Oh my God, I can't believe a fucking anime podcast filled to the brim with fucking reactionary douches in the fan base were very upset about platforming me. That doesn't mean anything. Please see the world outside of your fucking horse blinders. Most people in the real world do not know what any of this shit is. Okay? They don't care about any of this shit. They don't know who the fuck I am, and they don't know who the fuck Ethan is either. At most, they remember Ethan as the fair use guy, maybe, okay? And if they see what he looks like now, they're going to be like, oh, he's kind of different than who I thought he was. And most people know me as the woke guy from maybe the Young Turks. If they were over the age of 35 and under the age of 35, they know me as like, oh, that's the progressive guy. You know? This only reflects your own algorithm. Yeah, if you only see drama slop tubers on your timeline on YouTube and whatnot, you're going to think, holy fuck. Yo, chill on the trash taste hate. Big shameful fan here. No, I love the trash taste guys. But it's not a secret that they have a lot of fucking reactionary dudes in their fan base. It's fine. It's ironic because their politics are very different than some in their fan base. And for the most part, they, I guess, don't talk about politics that much, which is precisely the reason why that doesn't become a very big issue. You know?